In the Berry Hill part of town, we've got a crash 65 northbound just before I-440. Downtown, of course, we know there's a lot going on downtown right now with CMA Fest. But with respect to a crash, we've got one Broadway at 8th Avenue. Also in the Madison area, Neely's Bend Road at Gallatin Pike South, that's an injury crash. And in Belmead, another injury wreck, Harding Pike at Davidson Road. I'm Jay Harper.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Happy Thursday. How's everybody doing? Hope you are all very well. Good afternoon. It is 7 minutes after 3 o'clock. My name is Matt Murphy. Conveniently, this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. And we're on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You probably knew that. You probably knew that it was Thursday, June 4. It is in the year of our Lord 2026. This is episode 1050. 1050. That's correct. And I've enjoyed almost every single one of them. Jay Willie's behind the glass. He's been around for a time or two. He's making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. We'll speak to him just a moment from now after I complete the pleasantries. Jay Harper's back in News Closet B. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. It is, I mentioned, episode 1050. It is also day 500. By my math, and sometimes my math can get off on this, I'm really a stickler on the counting up of the days. But by my math, it is day 500 of Donald Trump's second term as president of the United States of America. That's out of 1,460.5 because I don't count the front end of the inauguration day, but I count the back end until 12 noon of his final day in office. And I have my own reasons for that. I don't want to quibble with you, but be that as it may, day 500 by my mathematics, and if I'm wrong, I'm certain that someone on the super text line will alert me to that fact. We're on a lot of different platforms. You already know most of them by now, but for those newbies in the listening audience, we'd like to catch you up to speed. You can find us at 99.7 FM from Kentucky to Alabama and all points in between. 100,000 watts of blowtorch power available at your fingertips and costs absolutely nothing. We're also on a variety of different apps. Obviously applications, if you will. We have our own, and I should promote it more. You go to your app store and you type in Supertalk 99.7 WTN, and you can find us there. Download the app and take us wherever you'd like to go. You can listen to Mandis in the morning, listen to Chris Hand, listen to Benson, listen to Murphy, listen to all of the programs. There's a lot of different features on there that I don't talk about from time. We try to talk about from time to time. To include, chat feature and that sort of thing, an ability for you to call us directly from the app. So we invite you to download the app and take us wherever you'd like on your smartphone or your laptop. If you so choose, you can also use a different application like iHeart, TuneIn, or Spotify. And then, of course, there's Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Like, subscribe, say hello to us. We'd love to say hello to you. YouTube chat is an unmonitored and bawdy place that I encourage everyone to go to from time to time just to see, how the other side's living. Jackson, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's up, bud?
What's going on? Anything good?
No, just a normal day.
I feel weird. I feel ahead of myself. I feel like I've screwed the show up already. I don't know.
You want to restart?
No, we're too deep.
We can restart.
Too deep into it. Let's plow ahead. Don't look back. Something might be gaining on you.
Let it ride.
Yeah, just let it ride. I see you turn the hat around.
I did.
Is it game time? Is that what it means?
No, the brim was just in the way.
Oh, okay. I thought it was that was an Action Jackson move. I felt like it was an Action Jackson move. So I thought you were taking on that nickname persona as opposed to Jay Willie, who seems to be more laid back. Action Jackson, very similar to Y2J. We're getting things done. We're moving forward. We're making it happen. Reaction Jackson is the I didn't do it. That's that persona. Jay Willie, yeah, I feel like you're in a Hawaiian shirt. You're sipping on a chick drink.
Okay.
And then there's the one that we don't use anymore, and we know what you're doing there. Brown chicken, brown cow. Jay Harper's back at News Closet B, which concerns me. I've not reached out. Has anyone reached out to Ken?
Well,
Jay?
I mean, I talked to him this morning. Yeah, he said that he finally got some rest last night, but the ringing in his ears, he said, is just driving him crazy. But the dizziness is better. So
okay.
He's hoping that he will be in good enough shape to be here tomorrow. That's his plan.
Well, Jay, we so appreciate you being on the bench and being able to get into the game when necessary. You know how much we appreciate that.
Hey, always happy to help when I can.
And we're thinking about Ken Weaver, and hopefully I'm Ken Weaver will be broadcast all throughout these airwaves before you know it. So we're thinking about you, Ken. If you're listening to the show, we certainly appreciate you and hope that you get to. Man, it's like everybody's. Bell K was not here today. Headless Bell was not here today. I think Hans' wife was sick. I mean, it's going around. You know what they never say? You know what you never hear? Just a random observation from Matt Murphy. Write this one down. You'll like it. You know what you never hear? You never hear it's not going around. Never once in your life have you been at work or in your home, at a business establishment. Never in your life have you talked to a buddy, a friend, a pal, and they say, how you doing? And you say, I'm a little under the weather. And they say, that's weird. It's not going around. You never hear that. Just a thought. I went to the dump today, or the best thing that I could get to a dump, and I thought about data centers. And I know we've been talking about this over the last several days, and we will continue to discuss it. I will ask Representative Monty Fritz about data centers at 3:35 this afternoon. I'll ask Representative Johnny Garrett. Pardon me. I am down on myself today, man. I am. Thank you. See, that's mistake number 4, and it's just the first segment of the show. I don't know what to do about it. So Johnny Garrett, we'll ask Johnny about it. I went to data centers. I went to the dump, or as close as you can get to the dump nowadays. Convenience centers, they call them. Murray County Convenience Center. And Mrs. Beasley's mad at me because I promised Mrs. Beasley that she could go to the dump, and then I reneged on my promise because I was running late. And I couldn't deal with all that. But next time, Mrs. Beasley, if you're listening, next time. Mrs. Beasley loves to take truck rides, and I love to take Mrs. Beasley to the dump. Or at least as close as you can get to the dump. Remember when we used to go to the dump? You guys go to the dump?
Absolutely.
Grandpa go to the dump?
Oh, yeah.
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 Your grandpa, your grandma, they take, whatever, dad, mom, take it to the dump. And you would go in and you go through the gate and there'd be a little shack there. And I don't really know. I don't really understand necessarily how the transactions happened. This is long before like weight scales or anything like that. I just remember my grandpa with the burn barrels or the barrels of trash in the back of the truck, and we would head off to the dump, and before you know it, we're driving through the gates, and he waves, and they wave, and they tell him, oh, yeah, go over there to where the thing is. They'll tell you where to go. And they had the big rollers with the big knobs on the rolling machines to press and squish it down. And you'd back your truck up to the side of the dump thing, and then and off it goes into the abyss. And then eventually they're going to cover all of that up with dirt or whatever. And I don't know what it is now, but I remember distinctly going to the dump. And I remember the dump being out in the middle of nowhere. But I do recall that around the dump, there were a lot of, there were homes. It wasn't like it was, just in the wilderness. There were homes and even a few places of business, like junkyards. There are a couple of junkyards around the dump. A lot of trailer homes around the dump. Not exactly the type of people that would have power or influence regarding the fact that they had a dump put in their backyard. And maybe they weren't there when the dump happened. I don't know. Point is, dump's got to go somewhere, right? And we're at a point where as I further explore this conversation about data centers, I become further and further curious as to what people want to happen. Are we asking for, and I don't pretend that there's a uniform answer, and I don't pretend that any answer is more or less correct than the next one. I just am genuinely interested where you are all on it as I explore where I'm at on it. Data centers did not pop up the other day. They didn't pop up this year, this month, this week. They've been around, but we're seeing more and more of them in larger and larger scale. And because of AI, there is more and more demand for these things. And I wonder, what do you want? Do you want there to be no data centers? Because if you're asking for no data centers, then we may as well be shutting down the internet. Are you asking for data centers to be somewhere else? Or, and I think for the most part, maybe we're asking for data centers to step up to the plate and make sure that they are environmentally sensitive and that they manage their surroundings and they do not use resources that the people of any given community would want to use, primarily electricity and water. I think that's where most people are on it. But what we have created, or what has been created, we have not done it, what has been created is this atmosphere that, you know what? I'm on my laptop computer yelling about it coming to my county. I'm on my smartphone and I'm screaming on social media platforms about it coming to my community or my state or my region of the world. I'm on my desktop computer and I'm posting it on every social media platform imaginable. Y'all see what I'm doing here? I'm posting it on every social media platform imaginable, and boom, I hit enter, and it goes out into the wilderness, and it goes out to the hinterland, it goes to the cloud, and it goes to the goes to the data center, and then off it goes, off to everyone that can possibly see it on the intraweb. That it's not coming to my hometown, and it's not coming into my backyard, and then I start thinking about the dump again. I think most people live just oblivious to how dumps operate, oblivious to the sheer amount of trash that we produce, human beings, every day, every hour of every day, every minute of every hour of every day, every second of every minute of every hour of every day. We produce untold amounts of garbage. And that's fine. That's fine. Obviously, there's going to be some of that goes on. One of the reasons that I've never been against recycling is that I don't see the harm in it. I do not want to be forced to recycle. Secondarily, I think, using the government as a bludgeon with regard to this, I would hope that we would all be, some basic recyclers, just, for the good of the earth, for the good of the planet, for the good of the people more than anything. I like the idea of, there's a trash island that is somewhere in the South Pacific that people talk about all the time. It's like as big as Manhattan or something or another. But I think about the dump. I think most people, once the trash leaves their home and the handy-dandy garbage man takes it away, they feel like it just kind of disappears. Well, it doesn't disappear. It has to go to the dump, and the dump has to be somewhere. And we recognize that. We just don't want it near us. Right? I think we've gotten to that point with data centers. Where if you think about it long enough, you recognize that there's so much about what you do in your daily life that requires it. And it's a little bit too late to try to cram that toothpaste back in the tube, guys. Because even if we did, they wouldn't. They, in this case, primarily China. And if they, China, get ahead of us, America, on the AI front, we are, how do I delicately put it, screwed. I mean, we are. Y'all, I didn't make the rules. I'm just here reporting the news. My understanding of artificial intelligence and where we are going with all of this is that there is a goal to get to singularity. What is singularity? Singularity is artificial intelligence building better artificial intelligence better than human beings could do it. And when that happens, when you have that exponential learning curve start rolling, Even the smartest people on planet Earth tell us that we have no idea what's going to happen after that. And you and I and Jackson and Jay Harper and everybody else listening to this radio show, we can talk about how that's scary and that's awful and that shouldn't be the way that it is, but it is the way that it is. And no amount of complaining is going to change it. It's a matter of, are we aware of what's going on and what demands are we going to place on our local, state, national leadership in order to steward this in the proper fashion that benefits humanity as opposed to screws humanity over in the process. Now, if it's left solely to the corporations, they just want to make a profit, and I get that. I don't blame a shark for being a shark. Shark wants to eat. That's why we elect people to govern/regulate these processes to represent whom? Represent us, the people. And 1726, I just looked out of the corner of my eye, and a lot of you are responding on the super text line, and you are welcome to respond on the phone lines as well. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. 1726 says, that sounds like a terrible idea. I don't want to do that. Let China try it first. Bro, if China tries it first, you understand that this is the new arms race. And the nation that gets to AI singularity first, China will take over. I mean, I'm not trying to be dystopian, but what do you think they're going to do if they achieve that? They're just going to sit on it? They're going to share it with us? Or are they going to advance their technologies to the point that they outpace us? I mean, China's in the taking over the world business. And they're patient. 615-737-9986. We got that. We got Andy Ogles responding to what Andy Ogles said. Once again, it's not what Andy said. It's how he responded to what he said. Now Andy's backing off of it completely, throwing this random staff person under the bus. I'm on record. I said it yesterday. No, with all due respect to those of you who support Andy Ogles or those of you who work for Andy Ogles, I don't believe him for a second on any of this. I mean, y'all, you are welcome to your own opinions about politics, and we invite that. I absolutely love it. I love disagreement. Disagreement comes to the front of the line. I love what I do on a daily basis. But one of the things I detest in political figures is when a politician talks to their constituents like their constituents are dumb. It just drives me insane. And that's what Andy's doing. He's talking to us like he thinks we're dumb. Dude, there is zero chance that a staff member posted that tweet without your knowledge. If they posted it at all, I tend to believe you did it. But there is zero chance that someone on your team was empowered to post homosexuality does not belong in American society without you knowing about it. And you saying that is just an insult. Hey, once again, I'm not against you. I'm not for you. It's just an insult to me and to your constituents in the 5th Congressional District that you would say that. Why not just be truthful? Why is the default to lie? So infuriating. So we got that going on. We got Monty Fritz coming up. Now, Monty's going to respond to a little Twitter back and forth that he and John Rose had. We'll do that at about 3:35 this afternoon. It's all on the way on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Kraft Body Scan. You know, I think about my mama. My mama went through a lot of health issues, and part of what she went through when I was a youngster was brain cancer. And I'm sad to note that eventually took her life at the tender age of of 53, but I wish we'd have had Kraft Body Scan back in the day. I sincerely think about this because with that early detection, we could have caught this earlier. We could have eliminated it a little bit earlier because it's what these CT scans do. They check your body. I got a full body scan as a result of some of my past. I am a little bit of a hypochondriac. I want to make sure I know what's going on inside of the body, and I think you should too. Kraft Body Scan does just that. Now, fellas are awful about this. Ladies, I lean on you. And one of the reasons we talk so often about the couples heart and lung scan for just $99, it's a way to introduce you to the process because we want you to become regulars at Kraft Body Scan with regard to your health, making sure that everything's on the up and up. Couples heart and lung scan, $99. It's an incredible value. It's fast, it's easy, it gives you real peace of mind and an early heads up before symptoms ever show up. Go to togetherwescan.com and type in MATT50. That's the promo code. Togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50. Or call 615-436-1000. 615-436-1000 for Kraft Body Scan. Hey, Matt Murphy for King & Associates Insurance. Your home and your automobile are two of your biggest investments. You need to protect those investments in your family with King & Associates Insurance. They protect both with coverage that fits your life and fits your budget. Whether you're a first-time home owner, a growing family, or shopping for better automobile rates, King & Associates can help. I've told my story in the past. I contacted Emory about homeowners insurance. He said, Murphy, let me get you together with that homeowners and bundle it with auto, and I think I can save you a lot of money, and they did. Over $300, almost $400 on automobile insurance alone. Honest advice, personalized service, policies that make sense, local and independent. That means they work for you. They don't work for insurance companies. They shop the entire marketplace. That's nice as well. 329-8121 is the local telephone number, 615-329-8121, or online at kinginsurance.com. Find out how they can help. kinginsurance.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you.
It is 3:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a full forecast and updated traffic report coming up. As oil and gas prices surge all around the globe, China has doubled down on its commitment to renewable energy sources like wind and solar. Experts say it's helping them weather the economic storms that have affected other countries, including us here in the good old U.S. More from ABC's Britt Clinette. She toured renewable energy plants, including a massive thermo energy plant in the western deserts of China.
In the United States, businesses are still investing billions in large-scale renewable energy projects, but at least 38 new solar, wind and battery power plants were cancelled in the first part of 2026 in the face of opposition to renewables from the Trump administration, according to the non-partisan organisation E2. In contrast, China's state-backed renewable push continues to expand at speed. That first solar plant we visited just came online in 2018, and now there are 18 across the country and more than a dozen more under construction.
Back here in the States, President Trump facing a revolt over his fund to reward political allies. It comes even after acting Attorney General Todd Blanche assured lawmakers this week that the fund was kaput. Well, now the president saying he's going to nominate Blanche for the full-time job as Attorney General, which could be complicated by this current revolt. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Blanche has become the face of this fund on Capitol Hill, including in a tense meeting last month when even staunch allies of the president warned Blanche that this fund was a political mistake in their view. And there are also concerns among some Republican senators that Trump, who has openly said, including this week, that he still wants to pay January 6 defendants, and Blanche could use the Department of Justice still to do just that. I asked one Republican senator just yesterday if he was concerned about that. He said, quote, "Who wouldn't be?"
Well, we talked about this yesterday. We have more details now on a shooting in Laverne yesterday afternoon. It happened at Waldron Road and Centerpoint Drive. News 2's Elisheva Wimberly reports that it happened around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Officials say one man was shot and was taken to a hospital for his injuries. The Tennessee Highway Patrol told us a crash happened as a result of the shooting, which they are currently investigating. Police are still working this case. They're asking anyone who was in the area around that time who has any information to share it with Laverne Police.
No word just yet on the condition of that person who was shot. That's the latest news, traffic and weather coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We are still dealing with, that just disappeared. Well, that's good. We do have now 65 northbound just before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard up in the Rivergate area. A crash just coming in there. An injury accident, Fessler's Lane at Elm Hill Pike. Up in Madison, another crash, Maya Drive, south of Northgate Business Parkway. And Briley Parkway westbound near Ellington Parkway in Madison, an injury wreck reported there. I'm Jay Harper.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds takes financial rates and financing rates all the way down to zero, and I want to tell you about it. This is happening this month, and this month only. Right now, Genesis Diamonds. Pay nothing down and get zero interest for 5 years on any purchase. A handcrafted Tacori ring with a GIA-certified diamond is only $100 a month. Wedding bands, colored bands, fashion necklaces, just $40 a month. Pick any item. Pay zero down and spread your payments over 5 years, even the sales tax. You heard me correctly. Luxury pre-owned Rolex watches are also included in this deal. Talk about an amazing $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings. This is a home run gift that your loved one will be talking about for years and years to come. It's an heirloom gift that she'll pass down from generation to generation, and it's only $50 a month. Don't miss this amazing offer. It's happening right now through June on approved credit. See store for details. Green Hills and Cool Springs. Friends, tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only, the incomparable Genesis Diamonds. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Show. I want to clean something up real quick. 9806. Look, I'm introducing the discussion on the table. I find it fascinating that some people suddenly consider me the enemy because I would suggest to you that you're a part of the data center problem. People don't want to face up to that, but you are. As you type on your cell phone, as you open up your laptop, as you utilize modern devices and modern technologies, you're a part of the data center conversation. And I have suggested that data centers have become kind of like the dump. Everybody who understands them understands that they are necessary. I mean, unless you can tell me a way to extract ourselves from this, I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. Just tell me how. But people want to pretend like it's the other guy's problem and I'm not a part of it, and all of you are a part of it. And I love you. I love you to death, but you are. We assisted in getting. We love the technology. We just want to pretend like when the trash leaves our house, it just magically disappears. It goes to the dump. Nobody wants to dump in your backyard, but you recognize the necessity of it. So I say all that, and then 9806 says, so you're saying we have to prioritize data centers over people's property rights? No, I'm not saying that. We have zoning for a reason. And we elect local city officials for a reason. What I'm saying is that there's a growing cadre of individuals that are, and maybe my next guest, Monty Fritz, is one of them. I don't know. That are just saying wholesale no. Well, have you thought about what that means for the future of your ability to get on the internet or whatever? I mean, maybe that's not something that is prioritized for you. But no, property ownership rights indicates that I can sell my property to whomever I'd like, right? So long as we're not violating basic zoning ordinances or zoning laws. No one forces a farmer that has 500 acres in Tennessee to sell their farm to somebody that's going to subdivide that acreage up and make a subdivision. They do that in the free market. Now, I might not want them to do that, but it is what it is. Monty Fritz joins us on the program. Always a pleasure to talk with Representative Monty Fritz, who, contrary to some, is running for governor and was born here. Hey, Monty, how are you?
Hey, brother, how are you? It's good to be with you today, man.
Man, it's good. It's good to talk with you as well. Always a pleasure to speak with you. How's the campaign trail going?
It's good. You have both myself and Mrs. Fritz today's in the cab of my F-250 as we're traveling past Limestone, Tennessee right now, headed up to an event in Sullivan County.
Well, that's excellent. Well, tell Mrs. Fritz we said hello, and we welcome her to the Matt Murphy Show. We're proud to have her.
Yes, sir.
So before we get to this this interesting exchange that you had with one of your fellow competitors in the gubernatorial race, without leading you in any particular direction, I'm trying to have a conversation about these data centers. I've done a little deep dive on them. Your thoughts on these things?
First of all, I think your assertion's right that we're contributing to a need for them because we have so embraced all the digital world. I will tell you, brother, I'd like to go to a flip phone if I could and be less digitally connected. Maybe in about 4.5 years I'll do that. I have made the commitment not to use any Tennessee tax dollars to incentivize. I don't like the corporate welfare anyways, but definitely not to incentivize the data centers. And couple reasons. I agree with you, brother, that you own the property, you ought to be able to sell it. That's part of your ownership rights. Two things about that industry. One is the competition for kilowatts. Right now, we import about 1 out of 4 kilowatts we use. Now, some of those are coming from TVA facilities in Alabama, but some are coming from Duke Power and Southern Power. That means your rates have to go up accordingly because they buy them on the market economy for kilowatts. I think extra competition for those kilowatts is a problem, and let me chase that in just a minute. President Trump just made a great announcement today about protecting both coal mining and coal-fired energy in America, and the number of coal-fired plants that are going to clean coal that they're going to try to keep open, which I think is a good thing. Unfortunately, Congress and all entities have failed us for the past 20 years as our generating capacity has gone down. Our demand has gone up. If it has not been for technological advancements, we would be enrolling brownouts routinely now, I think. Secondly, USCBA just put out a letter, I think last week, Matt, it may have been early this week, that said of the Tennessee River Valley watershed, 70% is at a severe drought level, and 40% of the entire watershed, Tennessee River, is at an extreme. And these were 40-year records that were being broken. As you know, the AI data centers use lots of water.
Mm-hmm.
Some have closed-loop systems, some do. But I think just the electricity and the water, I think we have to be really cautious about that. All the other concerns I have about data centers, we typically voluntarily submit to those. The whole tracking everything we're saying and tracking everywhere we go and every dollar we spend, those kinds of things are happening digitally now because we use our phones for so much. And so I agree with your premise on the conversation.
Well, I mean, I think, it has become somewhat of a boogeyman, and I understand why. But at the same time, I understand, I feel like I have a grasp on where we are from a technological standpoint, and some of the overall concerns about AI and where it goes and how it has become, somewhat of a new arms race around the world. And I mean, to not include that, I'm not saying that should be our primary concern, but to not include that in the conversation, I think would ignore reality, right? So, but as far as electricity and water, I asked the question yesterday, Monty, if we could magically make those concerns go away, that somehow these data centers would be self-producing of that sort of thing, would that alleviate a lot of fears? And a lot of people said that it would. So we'll see where it goes. But I agree with you wholeheartedly that there should never be any taxpayer dollars in the state of Tennessee going to incentivize any of this stuff.
Yeah, and I'll add one other thing, too, that concerns me. I talked to Flora Tidings, my friend who's over the Tennessee Board of Regents, about this. I talked to Stuart McWhorter about it in committee. I don't want AI to happen to us. It should happen for us.
No, that's great. No, that's a good point.
And
that's right.
And if that be the case, then I'm sorry, I said a phone call come in. That if it's not happening for us and it's happening to us, that changes the way we look at the technology coming in. I had the opportunity back in the early 90s to do a nuclear criticality safety course at Los Alamos National Lab, which was a big deal thing for me at that age, that point in my life, to get to do that and calculate the K-effective of a nuclear system from generation to generation and using gamma detectors and all. Interesting thing. I offer that just for this purpose. We solved huge problems with a pencil, a piece of paper, and a protractor in the early 40s in learning how to count the generations of neutrons in a nuclear system. And I'm afraid that we hurt ourselves if we develop an over-reliance on a system or a machine thinking for us. Now, I think God gives us the ability to make everything from shovels to hammers to Toyotas and supercomputers. So I don't think it's bad in and of itself. I just hope we don't relinquish our cognitive decision and problem-solving abilities to a machine because it's become the thing.
That's well spoken. I agree with you wholeheartedly on it. And I don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't know that any of us know what tomorrow brings. Only God knows. But, we need to be cognizant of handing over these cognitive abilities to, these types of supercomputers. Hey, by the way, Monty, I don't know if you were a part of the club before the other day, but welcome to the Phil Williams Hit Piece Club. Yeah. News Channel 5's, I call him the cowardly Phil Williams because I was fact-checking him on social media, and he decided to block me because I had the audacity to let him know that some of his facts were incorrect. But I appreciate the way you handled the conversation because you presented your point of view very well. Agree or disagree, you are where you are and very comfortable in your position on these issues. And I don't know if you knew that what would come out of that. Did you know what you were getting into with that interview?
Yes, sir. I interview with just about anybody. I mean, it feels pretty nice to me. Some of the the different worldview people that I interview with. Some are nice, some aren't. But I really think the person in the public arena has to be willing to engage even with those he may dissent with. And I think God calls us to. I think we can disagree vehemently on a topic and still love one another. I think we can, and as citizens, as fellow citizens, as human beings, and so I'm hoping I'm doing that. I'm trying to. Yes, I knew I was going to catch some flack for it, but that's okay. The last thing I'll say about that is I think it's important if you're going to run for an office like this that people know exactly what you think and what they're going to agree with and not agree with, and then they don't have to be surprised by the way you make decisions about this.
Well, as far I'm happy to hear you. For those who missed it, you guys talked about Christian nationalism, and I'm proud to hear you talk about that because I said the same thing. As someone who's a Christian and as someone who believes that the United States of America is the greatest country on God's green earth, then I don't know exactly when being Christian and being nationalist became a bad thing when you put those two words together.
No, I don't think so. To me, as I said, to feel it's Christ and Constitution. And, are there people that have different views that wear that same label? I'm sure there are, but, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to deny Christ. That has a horrible consequence I'm not willing to suffer. And I am going to be an America First, Tennessee First governor.
Monty Fritz is with us. Monty, if I may, I'm going to put you on hold real quick if you can, and I want to get back to this conversation that happened via Twitter. It was a back and forth between Monty and his fellow gubernatorial candidate John Rose, and I want to walk through that in just a moment. But right now, quick timeout. Monty Fritz is on with us, heading to a campaign event with his lovely bride, running for governor of the state of Tennessee. Representative Monty Fritz back after it in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Contours LLC. My man Keith is getting married. Did you know that? I mean, he is. It's happening. And he said to me, Murph, I'm just like everybody else. I want to look my best and lose some of these inches when it happens. But I want to talk to you for a moment about the red light technology that works so well getting rid of belly fat. Did you know the same technology reduces your waistline, can also reduce your bust line? I'm not talking just about the ladies. I'm talking about everybody. By triggering the fat cells to open a pore, if you will, Contours uses the body's own natural process to reduce the size of your body anywhere that the red light therapy is utilized. So if you suffer from back pain, shoulder pain, posture issues, poorly fitting clothes, maybe it's time to explore a non-invasive, painless solution to the underlying issue. Contours LLC is that solution. They work very well for men and women without damaging cells, without pain, and without any downtime. I've done this, and I know that it works because I lost 2.67 inches around my midsection. Thank you to Contours LLC. So on average, men lose just over a half an inch across their chest on their first visit, and that's a good thing. Contours LLC, online at contoursllc.com or 615-236-9960. 236-9960. What do you have to lose but inches?
Mixed messages coming out of Israel and Lebanon between Hezbollah and the Israelis regarding a ceasefire. Also, a California high school graduation ceremony turns tragic. We'll have that and more coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Monty Fritz, heading to a campaign event, is with us for about 3 or 4 more minutes. We appreciate his time. So I saw this yesterday, Monty, and you were quick to respond to one of your opponents in the gubernatorial race, John Rose. Last I saw, you guys are polling. You're behind Marcia, but you're polling, fairly close to one another. So I was a little bit surprised to see John write, as the only major candidate in the Republican primary for governor who was born and raised in Tennessee, you can bet I will never roll over to foreign or out-of-state interest. It's Tennessee first for me. Well, obviously, you were quick to respond by saying, yet you accept foreign influence money, AIPAC, give it back, John, and stop being afraid to debate. And by the way, Rockwood is in Tennessee. Obviously, you were born in Rockwood, Monty. Uh-oh. Is Monty there? Hello? Uh-oh.
I've got you.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, you were. No, it's all good. You were born in Rockwood, and I just appreciated the response. And John had a lengthy retort that said he meant no disrespect, but I guess John has a burr in his saddle because he feels like you've been disrespectful to him on the campaign trail. What is your response to that?
Well, I never intend to be disrespectful. Unfortunately, our society is full of so many weak males that they can't handle the truth. And, he's made one thing that I apologize to him when I sit back. If he thought I was cutting on him being a Christian, absolutely not. I think he's a fine guy. I met John the first time. He had sent me a campaign donation about a year and a half ago in January, and I found that odd that someone would send me money because none of the federal folks had helped my campaign. Well, I sent it back because I wasn't going to run again. And so anyways, it became a catalyst for a meeting. We had a nice conversation, super nice guy. But, I thought that was a rude comment about not being born in Tennessee and not being a major candidate. And if you look at we don't do any polling, but if you look at some of the polling that other people have done, we've just clobbered him in a couple of the polls. He doesn't have a message. And so I'm not trying to be mean, but he just hadn't had a message. He replicates mine about half the time. And so when he said that, there's this old adage from a movie, Lonesome Dove, that says, I won't tolerate rude behavior in a man. And I thought that was a little bit rude, so I had to fire back at him a little bit.
So just to be clear, you feel like John Rose is a weak male?
I feel like many people in politics are. I will tell you, I think we hasn't stood up against the NFA when it come through in the One Big Beautiful Bill. I think he voted for $5 billion in foreign refugee welfare, and I think that politics has developed that. That's not just a John Rose statement. That's a career politician statement. They become compromised on things, Matt. And I know that this stings a little bit when I say these things, but I just think it's time people want someone to say what they think and not beat around the bush, not hide behind issues, come out and confront those issues and talk about them. And I think that, a debate's a good way to do that. I would certainly entertain a debate rather than just wait and see what Senator Blackburn's going to do. And she's so far ahead in the polls, she's probably not going to debate.
No, you know what? I hate it, and I wish that there's something I could do to change it. I don't know what we could do to change it, but I fear that she's going to avoid debating you or debating John or debating anybody. So I think it's just as well y'all get together and hash out some of these disagreements and issues.
I think so, too, and I think the public deserves that. It's kind of like going for an interview with Phil Williams. I think that the voting public deserves to hear straightforward from the candidate that aspires to be governor or feels called to be governor, to run for governor. I think they deserve a straightforward answer from people about how we see the world and how we're going to respond to things. And, I love John. I told him that in the last reply. I love you, brother. I'm not picking on your Christian ethics. I think you're a fine person. Let's not hide behind things. Let's come out and confront them. And And using Marcia as a barrier or as an excuse not to debate, I think most people are just kind of shaking their head and saying, well, that's all I need.
Well, look, man, we will host it tomorrow, and we will put you on stage and John Rose on stage, and we'll put a big empty podium with her, a cutout of her face on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can do this and highlight the fact that she has chosen not to be there, and that, and that's on her. And the voters will decide for themselves whether or not that matters enough for them to look toward one of the other candidates.
I can't think of a better place to do the debate than on WTN. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
And as we talk through that, different views of the different hosts between you and Chris and maybe some of the other folks, I think it'd be a great mix.
I do too.
Invite Phil Williams.
Sure. We can let Phil ask the obligatory white Christian national or homosexual questions.
Well, and even better than that, Matt, we could use the call-in line like you do or Chris does often when I do, and take questions from the audience.
Yeah.
I think it'd be huge, and I think it restore confidence of Tennesseans that there's somebody that wants to work for them rather than just another career DC politician. And let me say this. The attitude of a career DC politician isn't always determined by their seniority or longevity. Sometimes it's determined by things like you might start hearing ads that are paid for by the federal money right before an election that you hadn't heard that much before.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know. I hate them. These constituent services ads that pop up. I mean, and I'll just, me, Monty, I'll call it out. John's doing it, and I see Andy Ogles is doing it too, where they're using taxpayer dollars for what is obviously a campaign hit, and I think it's wrong.
I think so too. And Senator Blackburn did it, but that's the career DC politician thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they've got lots of money to throw at this, and I get that, and I'm happy for them for that part. But I think the average Tennessean sniffs that out, and they think, wait a minute, he wasn't offering to help me a year ago. And, I just think it gets the whole thing. But let me close with this first.
Yeah.
Most important thing I can say, I love the man. I wish he and his family the very best. If he wins the primary, I'm going to pray for him every day, or at often anyways. And so it's not that. It's just I really think, first, I told you this, I think I've been called to run. Now, we'll let the voters decide what that means, and if I get 2 votes at the end of this thing, I'll be smiling like crazy and like I've been obedient to the call. I've ran as hard as I can, and I'll go back to being a productive Tennessee in some other way. But I wish only the best for all of these people, even the Democrats that are running. I wish the best for them as humans. I love them as fellow Tennesseans. I think we've got to get to the point where we can have the straight conversation, be critical, address I think they don't want to talk about lots of the votes they've made, Matt.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah,
covering up misconduct in Congress, they don't want to talk about those things publicly, but we can still love one another at the end of the day.
Well, look, I appreciate your time. Sadly, we're out, but I will bring this up. John's on the show tomorrow, and I'm going to tell him that you're willing to sit down in front of the Super Talk 99.7 WTN listening audience. Let's see if we can make it happen. Monty, safe travels. God bless you, sir, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you, brother.
All right, take care. There's Monty Fritz laying down the challenge. 5 after the hour. I apologize, Jay St. Clair. What am I talking about? Jay Harper. That's his name. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 5 minutes past 4 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you a forecast and a traffic report here shortly. Mixed messages regarding a proposed ceasefire between Israel and the militant group Hezbollah in Lebanon. According to Lebanese government officials, a deal was struck between the U.S. for the sides to stop fighting, but that turned out not to come to fruition as strikes and attacks continued in Lebanon. Hezbollah also out with a statement denying that they would agree to a ceasefire. We hear now from ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge. He is in Israel.
Hezbollah's statement is pretty long, and it appears to reject the idea of this deal between the Lebanese government and the Israeli government. Their basic point is summarized in one line, and it refers to the fact that there are tens of thousands of Israeli troops occupying southern Lebanon, north of Israel's border. Hezbollah saying as long as the occupation exists, the resistance will continue.
Police in Northern California, they're asking for information after a shooting in the parking lot of a high school graduation ceremony. It happened in Fairfield between San Francisco and Sacramento. ABC's Alex Stone is in California.
An 18-year-old victim of the shooting is dead, and 3 more victims who are 11, 20, and 25 years old are injured after the shooting in the parking lot of Fairfield High School on Wednesday evening. A graduation ceremony had concluded for Sam Yetto Continuation High School. About 1,000 people attended the event. Fairfield police say there are hundreds of potential witnesses. At this time, police say there is no ongoing threat to the public, and they are following up on leads.
Karen Reed, she was acquitted in Massachusetts in the death of her former boyfriend. She's suing the Canton, Massachusetts Police Department and the state police there. Reed and her attorneys claim that law enforcement tried to frame her and tried to cover up certain facts about the case. Reed was acquitted of murder in the death of John O'Keefe, a Boston police officer who died in a snowstorm 4 years ago. ABC's Brian Buckmeyer explains the suit.
I don't want people to think, and as many of my clients have in the past, think, hey, I beat the case, I was found not guilty, so now I can clearly prosecute the police, because that's not always the case. But here, Karen Reed's case, I think, is a little bit more ripe for the actions that she's alleging here. This was a case where it seemed like there was a brazen cover-up.
That is the latest news. We'll get to weather and traffic for you. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. We have a crash on, 24 westbound, the off-ramp to Spring Street and Ellington Parkway. The ramp partially blocked due to a wreck. 65 northbound just before Vietnam Vets. That crash has been moved over to the shoulder. Also 65 northbound up in Robertson County near exit 108. We've got a crash involving 3 vehicles. Briley Parkway southbound at exit 3, a crash reported. I'm Jay Harper.
Hello. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, hour number 2. My apologies for being a little bit late. I ran a little late with Monty Fritz. Did not get to all the questions I wanted to ask him, but Monty will be on, obviously, again, prior to the primary. He's running for governor, one of the 3 major candidates running for governor, Monty Fritz. And despite that John Rose would not consider him a major candidate, I suppose, Monty, John, and Marsha Blackburn are the 3. Obviously, John currently representing the 6th Congressional District in the House of Representatives, a position that he is vacating to run for governor. Now, the 6th Congressional District has changed somewhat in its map lines in as much as we had redistricting. One of the individuals running to replace John in the 6th District is Johnny Garrett. And Johnny will be on the show with us in about an hour from now. He's running against Van Hillary. Those are the 2 major I don't know if there are any other candidates in that race. I've only heard of the 2, but they are running for the 6th Congressional District. That's happening in about an hour. Many of you want to comment on data centers. We're going to get to each of your calls in a moment. A lot of people are very upset at me because I'm pro-property ownership rights. I'm pro-freedom. And I recognize the concern that many have. I think maybe we are... I don't want to suggest that where you are on it. I want to talk about where we are as a society, where we are in terms of our need to process information, where we're going with that, and what we want that to look like. Secondarily, I don't know that I like governments having the ability to prevent me from selling property to an individual that wants to buy it, so long as that property is zoned appropriate. I mean, zoning laws are there for a reason, and I recognize that. Being a small L libertarian, I want to limit the ability that government has to dictate to me what I may or may not do on my own property. At the same time, I understand that there's some basic rules of the road that we as a society have decided that we're going to abide by, that I don't want to buy a piece of property that's worth $500,000 and have somebody set up a pig farm next door to me, devaluing my property as a result. So we have basic zoning laws, residential, commercial, industrial, etc. And we can set up parameters by which organizations or businesses that are going to use large amounts of energy, large amounts of local resources ought to figure out a way to operate their or function their business, whatever it might be, without impacting others within the local community, whether it's water resources, electrical resources, going up on our power bills, etc. And that's fair too. Beyond that, I don't know what everyone's so afraid about, unless it's surveillance state technology, which I think the hay's already out of the barn on that. Now, with regard to Monty Fritz, the one question I failed to ask Monty, and it was brought up to me, and I apologize. John Rose accused Monty Fritz of having some sort of cushy DC job. It says, when it suits you, you've led voters to believe that you have executive leadership experience, which you certainly do not have. You even used the slogan, "Don't DC my Tennessee," but I believe voters deserve to know that you had a cushy federal government job in Washington, D.C. So I'm endeavoring to get an answer on that front from Monty, and I'll do so in just a moment, and we'll try to find out what John was talking about. John might be able to tell us himself, as he is scheduled to be on the show tomorrow at, 3:35, same time as Monty was on today. So John will be on tomorrow at about 3:35 to answer many of these questions. We look forward to that conversation.
Have you considered how good the bacon would be if you had a pig farm open up next door?
It'd be fresh.
Yeah.
I said to someone the other day, though, I love bacon, but I don't want to be involved in slaughtering the hog. You
literally, you don't want to see how the sausage is made,
right? Literally. So I'm not necessarily wanting to hear the pigs as they take their last squeal.
What's that? Oh, honey, they're just
slaughtering the pigs, babe. But bacon tomorrow morning, that'd be great. Hey, speaking of food, who brought us food in there, Jackson? Loyal listener. Well, would you look on the thing? Loyal, we got 2 pies, man. What are you talking about? No, don't say her last name, but is it Christina? Brought us pie? Man, oh man.
Yes, and a Lego set.
What do you think that Lego set builds? Why don't you make yourself useful and do some Lego? Yeah. Oh,
that's hefty.
I don't know. Well, thank you for the pie. I would ask you. I think it would be unfair to ask. One of their cheesecake pies. One of them is blueberry and one of them strawberry.
Yes, sir.
And my goodness gracious, they smell and look delicious. I had a little taste of one. Good. Jackson said no thank you right now. He's full up on brownies. But, man, thank you, Christina, for the gift. Also, while I'm thanking people for gifts, thank you, Robert. Loyal listener Robert was out in Utah, and he brought me a Utah hat, and that was very sweet of him, and a shot glass. I didn't know that they allowed the sale of shot glasses in the state of Utah. I thought the Mormons stopped that, but apparently that is a thing. So
soda,
that's nice.
Diet Coke shots.
Oh, is it? Well, no, they don't do caffeine, bro. What are you talking about?
They drink Diet Coke.
Water shots. I didn't think Mormons drank caffeine.
They make caffeine-free Diet Coke.
I understand that. I'm just pointing out that, you start pumping out, you start admitting to drinking caffeine and you're the quarterback at BYU, they'll throw you off the team, won't they? Didn't that happen?
I don't think it was not for Diet Coke.
I don't think it was for Coca-Cola.
No.
The caffeine. I think it was something a little harder than that, but
it was not drugs.
Oh, was it sex?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. He admitted to having premarital sex. Am I remembering that story correctly? I'm proud of myself.
You are.
Okay, you're all right.
It was just like a year or two ago.
Okie dokie. Kristineth. What am I saying? Am I saying it wrong? I said Christina. It's Kristineth. Do I have it? 4931. Can I just go Kristineth?
The thing that I have says Christina.
Yeah, I don't.
Very distinctively.
Yes. So I do not. I think Mormons are now a minority in Utah. Thank God. Yikes. Man, oh man, y'all are hard asses. 18 after the hour. Speaking of hard cases, Marshall is making the case about data centers or against data centers. Hello, Marshall. How are you? And goodbye, Marshall. Marshall, I went to you and you just hung up on me, and that's not very nice. Call us back.
That was a great point.
I did think you made up. I mean, that's how we like it.
Little off topic there in the end.
Get in there, make the point, succinct, pithy, and get out.
But he got a little off topic at the end.
Yeah. Maybe it was all the pie talk. I'm telling you, it's good pie. You need to try that pie. Kevin is next. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, how you doing, Matt?
I'm well.
Hey, I think that I think everything you said about the data centers is completely correct. And all this started with when Trump got back in office with the Stargate project. He committed $500 billion to help fund these things. And it's going to keep rolling. Yeah, we like our laptops, smart TVs, and cell phones. All that's part of it. But eventually, it's going to roll into because the digital currencies are coming, and you can kind of see where with the digital currencies, then they're going to marry the digital IDs to the currency, and all this other stuff that does not sound good. All this stuff is going to happen regardless. And that's not just here. That's going to be in several other places. But at the same time, I think if they offered I heard the program yesterday, offered the guy $4 million for his property.
Yes.
In
Wilson County.
Yeah, and a lot of people might look at $4 million and say, I think I'm going to sell. Because if they came and offered me that kind of money, I can't say I'd hold fast. I might have to fork it over and give it to them. And
just to be clear, this was not a data center offering the money or a company that wanted to put a data center on the property. It was an organization that the potential seller believed would subdivide the property and then put homes on it. So it would create, kind of subdivisions. But
okay, I didn't get that part. But I think if it comes down to it, I wouldn't say they wouldn't go as far as using eminent domain if they have to get the property.
No, I mean, that's where I would firmly and steadfastly draw the line on this issue. Right? I think that becomes a completely different thing. I do not believe, now, at some point, the government might begin to try to argue that data centers or artificial intelligence is a utility or it's an essential part of national security, and I will push back against that vehemently. I mean, just as I do with most eminent domain cases that do not provide to the people that they're impacting the real and necessary purpose behind what they're utilizing the property for. I mean, yeah, and the fact that it's the only way that they can accomplish their goal that benefits the entire community. So I would push back against that. When you say, real quick, Kevin, let me ask you, when you say digital currency, what do you think that's going to look like?
It will probably something like Bitcoin, because they've tossed the idea around, because Trump's idea was a deal called the stable coin. They're just trying to decide on which one they're going to use. And it will likely be a currency just like that, but it's something that can be monitored and controlled. And that's what from the things that I've read and the things I've looked at, this is what I see is coming. So,
I mean, like cryptocurrency would be an obvious example of digital currency.
Right, because they've done it in China. They have done it in China. They've got that because they've got people that they can completely stop them from buying anything. If you run afoul of the government, then you wouldn't be able to get anything as much as a can of soda.
You know, I think some are confused, and I admit that I was for a minute years ago when we began talking about digital currency, in that I thought, transferring to an electronic format is not necessarily digital currency. In other words, me utilizing Venmo or utilizing bank transfers is not digital currency necessarily. Right. Although I think it makes digital currency a lot more palatable to people because of the nature of how we transact so many different things in our lives electronically. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it does. Because right now most of us don't use hard currency now anyway. It's just another form of the currency we have. But the idea that has been kicked around is a thing called the stable coin. Like I said, and what had happened during the Biden administration, he did sign an executive order for the United States to produce its own digital currency as well as digital wallets for people. And I think that sometimes can sound very bad, or it can be used for nefarious purposes. And, along with the whole thing with AI, AI is coming. It's here. It's going to be in everything that we use, just about. And there's military applications, and, who knows where that's going to go. But it's going to be there.
Well, if the grid went down, you talk about this, and I'm not here to scare the hell out of people, Kevin, and thank you for the call. I got to run. But, man, if the grid went down, for the most part, people would be hosed with regard to their money anyway, right? Most of us don't have, large amounts of currency in a safe or in a place where we could access it. For the most part, people have their money in, money markets or financial planning or in banks. And how do we access that money from banks? We for the most part access that money from in a digital way, or an electronic way, not to confuse the matter. Digital currency is a different thing, though. It's an elimination of the physical form of currency and moving strictly to computer-based platforms, which I'm steadfastly against. I just want to be clear. Marshall has called back. We'll get to you in a moment. 25 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Health insurance can be confusing. We all need it. We all know that we need it, but most often than not, or more often than not, I should say, we don't know what we're paying for. We don't know if we're getting the coverage we deserve because they're very confusing, and they change, and we just kind of sign off on them. I think it's time for you to do a health insurance check with Shane Ring and Cover Nash, and Shane agrees. No pressure. Just give him a call and schedule an appointment today. You can stop by in Brentwood, or you can do it on the phone. You could even do a digital platform, a Zoom call or whatnot, to make sure that you're getting the coverage that you deserve, the coverage that you expect, without any surprises. The last thing you want is for you to come down with an illness or a family member to get sick, and you think you're covered in some form or fashion, and you're not. That's the worst time to find these things out. Let's do a check of your plan, your program, your health insurance with Cover Nash and Shane Ring today. Shall we? Make the call that so many others have made to 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or go to covernash.com. Covernash.com. Real health coverage on your terms, not the government's, with Cover Nash.
President Trump with an announcement today affecting coal plants. We'll also have a story about a new invasive worm that is worrying the agricultural sector and today's closing money news. That's all coming up at 4:30. Well, that here any moment on WTN.
Seconds from now. Seconds from now. I get accused by Jackson Williams of hating news teases. I don't really. I get all excited about talking to the folks, and I lose track of time. My apologies. We got lots to get into, boy. Freddie O'Connell is backtracking on his illegal alien slush fund. We'll talk about that. Feckless Freddie. Man, it must get tough riding that fence, boy. That's got to hurt the tookus to ride that fence like he does. We'll continue talking about that. We'll speak to Johnny Garrett coming up in the next hour. I have a listener that is demanding that I ask Johnny about 1971, so I will. We'll do that. We'll take your telephone calls on data centers and more. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 31 after the hour.
31 minutes past 4 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A weather forecast and a traffic report. They're both coming up. President Trump says his administration is using hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade coal-burning power plants. Speaking today in the Oval Office, Trump said the money will also be used to expand dozens of coal mines.
As a result of the $700 million investment that I'm announcing today, we will protect 14 coal plants and 42 coal mines. It's a tremendous number. And build 2 new coal plants and 1 massive new export terminal because we're exporting coal.
The dreaded New World screwworm. Yeah, that's its name. It's been detected in Texas, and the U.S. Agriculture Secretary confirmed today. Brooke Rollins is the secretary and said the pest was detected in a 3-week-old calf in Texas, in a little town just southwest of San Antonio called La Pryor. Rollins said the beef, though, is still safe for the moment.
The food supply is not compromised at all. This is not a disease. It is not a virus. It is simply an insect that lands in a wound and lays eggs that like to eat the flesh around the wound.
We now turn to the closing money news for this day. Here's Brian Clark.
Major markets indexed rose as oil prices eased. The Dow was up 875 points at the end of Thursday trading. The S&P gained 31 points after backing down from its record high. The Nasdaq fell 23 points. Bank stocks helped boost markets. Shares of Goldman Sachs were up by 5%. Fifth Third Bancorp and U.S. Bancorp were each up more than 4%. Those gains offset losses in tech stocks. Shares of chipmaker Broadcom fell by more than 12%. Despite strong profit and revenue reports, Micron Technology shares fell by more than 7%. President Trump announced plans to boost the struggling coal industry using a Cold War-era law to spend nearly $700 million to support existing coal plants and help build new coal plants in Alaska and West Virginia. Number of Americans filing for jobless aid hit a 4-month high. Layoffs remain low, according to the latest numbers from the Labor Department.
That is the latest news, traffic, and weather. They are coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. Boy, a bunch of wrecks. 24 westbound, the off-ramp to Spring Street still partially blocked due to a crash. 40 eastbound before Hermitage Avenue. We picked up a wreck. Briley Parkway southbound at exit 3, a crash. 65 northbound at exit 108 in Robertson County, a wreck. 24 westbound approaching exit 62. We have a crash there in Laverne. 40 eastbound at the Jefferson Street exit, a wreck. 65 southbound at Briley Parkway, Ellington Parkway, that exit. We also have a crash there. I'm Jay Harper.
Fellas, I understand that you're doctor averse. I know how the guys operate, right? You want to avoid the doctor if at all possible. And sometimes you allow this to impact you in ways that can significantly affect your relationship and your intimacy with your significant other. Yes, guys, I'm talking about ED. Yes, I'm talking about things that happen to a lot of guys once you reach a certain age. But I'm telling you that we live in 2026. We don't live in 1976. This is not your grandpappy's era where, once it happens, it happens. And that's just a part of your life that you don't have anymore. No, sir. No, sir. You need to get to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. They have locations near you. As a matter of fact, they're opening up new locations as we speak. One in the Borough is coming very, very soon, and we'll tell you more about that as it becomes available. Bottom line is this. In Clarksville, in Nashville, and in Cool Springs, there is a solution for you. What they need from you is a telephone call. They need an appointment to be scheduled. You get out to that appointment, and for less than $100, they're going to go over you, give you a complete examination. They'll get a little blood work, and in less than an hour, they'll figure out what's happening inside of your body. Is it a low testosterone level? Is it something different than that? If so, they'll figure it out, and they will design a plan of action that will succeed in getting you back in the game, man. That's what it's all about. Getting you back to that romantic intimacy that you've enjoyed with your family for so long that you can no longer enjoy for whatever reason. It's the Tennessee Men's Clinic, online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or call 615-208-9090, 208-9090. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Matt Murphy Show continues. Freddie O'Connell, feckless Freddie, cannot take a stand for the life of him. Boy, that fence riding. Trouble with that fence riding is you get splinters in your ass. And he is riding the fence when it comes to this allocation of money that is going directly to the benefit of illegal aliens. I'll tell you that story coming up in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Your telephone call is always 615-737-9986. In the 5 o'clock hour, we'll welcome Representative Johnny Garrett to the show, who is running for the 6th Congressional District. If you have any questions for Johnny, get him in on the Super Text line, and I will ask said same in about 30 minutes or so. Marshall has been holding on. Hello, Marshall.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Good. What's on your mind?
So, I do energy management systems. So my device measures the device of the meter. So, and then last year we did 2 Bitcoin mining facilities, and let me tell you this. So they use more power than that the city or the power company can provide. They use so much power they can't provide that much power, you know. So that's my thought. Okay, so yeah.
So
are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm processing what you're saying. So you're saying that that Bitcoin mining operations use a lot of power too.
They use a lot of power. So the one I did, it was like close to the Mississippi River, right, like on the border between Kentucky and Missouri, and that place was like a recycling place. They said they could not get any data, or on their phone. They couldn't get no data on their phone. They couldn't get Wi-Fi or nothing because that's still, the Bitcoin mining still. Well, so they have these like really huge rooms. All the it's all computers. It's all everything. And then one side is hot, one side is cold. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I've done 2 of them. So yeah.
Well, Marshall, what was your take on it?
Well, I think that like they're using way too much power to produce Bitcoin.
Well,
yeah. I mean, so
yeah, I mean, the argument would be that if they're paying for the power that they use, then good. I mean, power is based on
yeah.
But if it becomes too much of a drain on the communities in which they're in, then the communities have to respond and kind of rate them differently. Marshall, I appreciate the call. I thank you for it. Marshall says that he worked for some of these Bitcoin operations, which is a little bit different than data centers, but I guess not a lot. A bunch of servers and a bunch of equipment that needs to be cooled and utilizes a tremendous amount of electricity. Stephen is next. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, man. Thanks for taking my call, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering, man, I've been hearing a lot about the fraud stuff that's being uncovered in all the states and everything, and there's still a lot of questions that's been unanswered. I don't know how far you guys have dove into this, but, it's one thing for groups of foreigners and communities to try to get a free handout. Of course, that makes us mad.
Now, you see, if Stephen had a better data center around him, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Stephen, you still there? I'm kind of losing you. I'm going to put Stephen on hold, see if we can't get him back. Brad is next on the very, very hot topic of data centers. Hello, Brad.
Hello, Matt. How are you today?
Fabulous. Thank you for calling.
No problem. And I've got a way of changing your mind. If I know you like I think I do, I know a way of changing your stance on this in one sentence.
Well, before you change it, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What do you believe my stance is?
You're kind of wishy-washy on it, honestly. You're what I don't like, and where I'm going to have a bigger point on, is your stance on it's our fault for using Instagram or posting to Facebook. But before I did that, I was going to give you just kind of a look why people don't like it. It's not in my backyard. It's the same way that you are when somebody tells you you have to do something. In a lot of these towns, regardless of what the people want, regardless of anything else, these data centers get approved and they get built. No?
Yeah, I mean they get approved just like any other business would get approved, right?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there's been instances where cities come out and they have their I'm drawing a blank right now. They're not a town meeting, but the city councils.
Yeah.
Lots of citizens are there speaking out. We don't want this, and yet the city council votes to approve it anyway.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't know that I would. I mean, that's fair. You characterized my position on it as wishy-washy. I don't know that I'm wishy-washy. I'm trying to do my. I mean, I see something. A subject has gotten to the forefront of the conversation. And I think people have decided that they are against something. And what I see is that the general public mood is that data centers are in some way inherently bad. And that's just the general tone of the conversation. And that's fine. And if they are, I'd love to know how exactly that is. But my point is to address how we are complicit in these data centers in our everyday lives, because were it not for being on our phones, were it not for being on our laptop computers, were it not for the need to process information in a very swift way and store data in the manner that we do, these things would not exist.
Well, and if it weren't for us as individuals using plastic straws, there wouldn't be floating heaps of garbage in the ocean. Correct?
Sure.
And to me, that's the parallel. When you're blaming the individual person, the amount of data that's being stored, being analyzed, isn't the individual person. It's companies that are harvesting and sucking up every single thing that they can. Hendersonville has a contract right now. They're in the middle of a 3-year plan, doesn't get talked about, with a company called Placer AI, where they track every single cell signal that enters, leaves, and travels within the city of Hendersonville. That's a huge amount of data, and that's what these centers are doing. You can suck up all the data you want to, but if you don't have the tools, if you don't have the computers to analyze it, it doesn't do you any good. And that's what AI is bringing. They now all of a sudden they have this ability to actually analyze all that data and do something with it.
But for the end consumer, there would be no purpose for the data analyzation, though.
I don't think that's true. The individual person, they didn't sign up to have their cell phone signals tracked and harvested.
Yeah, you did.
They didn't agree to that. No.
Yeah, well, you did. Well, you do.
I mean, having a cell phone on us, which is a product of what...
But what my suggestion is that I think we have more power individually if we utilize that power and create a collective than we would realize. I think people...
Oh, I agree with that.
I think generally people just like to complain. They want to complain about data centers, but they don't want to get off TikTok. They don't want to give up their phone.
And they also don't like being told that it's their... And that's kind of where I'm pushing back on you. You're blaming the individual person. And I'm saying it is not.
I'm not blaming...
With everything else, it's just not. Because up to this point, up until this recent controversy, we've been on Instagram. We've been on Facebook.
But Brad, data centers have been around for a long time, too.
And they have. It's the sudden growth, though, that's new.
Well, the sudden growth is due to the growth of artificial intelligence primarily, right?
It's ramped up a lot in the last year or two.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would push back. Let me say one real quick thing, and I'll give you the floor back. I'm not blaming anyone. I am pulling back the curtain and identifying our role in all of this. That's all. I'm not blaming the end consumer. I'm not blaming Brad, and I'm not blaming Matt, and I'm not blaming Steven, or I'm not blaming anybody. So, and if I've come off that way, I'm sorry.
And maybe blame's too harsh. I see it as the plastic straw argument, the same way with the pollution with the oceans. If we just all quit using plastic straws, we wouldn't have all this garbage. If we'd all just quit using Instagram, we wouldn't need all these data centers. And that's not true. The data centers are going to be here because they're getting built whether we like it or not. And that's the part that people are against.
I adamantly disagree that if there was no market for the data centers, that companies would continue to invest the amount of money that they invest in the data centers if they're not going to see money on the back. Their motivation is money for their shareholders.
You can listen to Kevin O'Leary last time when he was on with Tucker. He sat there and told Tucker that he doesn't know what the use for this data center he's trying to build is going to be. He doesn't know.
Well,
because the technology doesn't exist yet.
Well, the AI changes. And I would agree with you that AI changes that dynamic to a certain degree, because even the smartest people like O'Leary agree that they don't ultimately know where the AI is going to take them. You're right.
But they're investing in it.
And my goal is to make sure that they're paying for the investment, not me.
Well, we could go down a whole nother road, where that's getting passed on to the consumer too, through the energy rates, through the water rates, through everything else. It does get passed on. You've got up in Gallatin, Meta built, it's one of the biggest ones that we've got around here. I think it's like a 500 megawatt center. Meta advertises that as being 100% solar, which is a marketing trick. They're buying, what do they call them, the EPA credits, but all of their power is coming from Gallatin Steam Plant. But Meta, if you read about it in the Nashville Banner recently had an article that made the same claim. If you read it there.
But Brad, would you not agree, and I hear what you're saying about Gallatin, but would you not agree that for the most part, as a society, that we consume goods and we throw trash away, and then once the trash goes to the garbage, we just kind of forget about it?
Well, of course, but that's human nature, and that's not going to change. It's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
What the individual person, and yes, we know that they're tracking us. We know when we're on our phones, Facebook is getting everything they get. But not to the extent of what's really getting tracked, what's getting downloaded, what's getting put on these servers. The average person, they wanted to post some stupid picture on Facebook, and yeah, they're contributing to it. I don't think that it adds up to the scales with what they're building these new data centers under, though.
So, I mean, and I've heard this before, too, and it feels like you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree, that there is, I don't know what percentage we would put on it, but there is some sort of hidden something going on. There's a feeling that there's more than just processing and storing data. There's more than just AI, although AI is a big contributor. That there's something else going on in terms of the insanely rapid growth of these centers.
And I'd agree with that completely.
Yeah, and with that, I don't pretend to know what it is, but I also don't discount it. So I think it's fair.
Lack of information.
Right.
What you're saying is, and that's we're not being told the whole truth, I feel. And I just think that that's a easy sentiment that anybody could get when they're just so adamantly just forcing it down the throat, no matter what, come hell or high water. They want these in, and it's going to happen whether we like it or not. And most of us don't like being told that. I know that you don't. City council meetings.
But do we not, as a citizenry, have an opportunity to vote these people out? If we are so against it, aren't they going to be voted out of office? If the community of Gallatin hates this data center so much, they're going to vote those people out of office. That's the way the Democratic.
I don't know that your average person knows that there's even a data center in Gallatin.
Who's that on?
I really don't.
Who's that on?
What's that?
Who's that on?
Our reporters, our politicians, ourselves.
I can't. But Brad, all you and I can do is talk about it on a 100,000 watt radio station. I can't make people listen.
And hence the reason for my call.
Yeah. No. It's a good. No. Listen, it's a good call. It's a good take. I love the conversation, my friend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Take care. That's good. I like it. Brad is exactly what I'm looking for in terms of conversations like this. It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk. Friends, we are fresh off the big, bad open house at the Glock store. Cannot get over what a great time it was. Could not believe how many wonderful listeners came up and said hello to us and thanked us for letting them know about it. And it is our absolute pleasure to do that. Here's something else I'd like you to know about. Glock Store gift cards, and specifically Glock Store gift cards for Father's Day. Now, you can buy them in any denomination, which, my favorite option is for a specific activity like a 1-hour range session with a private instructor, including a firearm rental. Even if your dad has a Glock or 2 or even 10, the firearm rental is a great addition because you can try out the new Gen 6 Glocks, which are pretty cool, the latest red dot optics, the RMR HD, and so much more. The enclosed Vortex Defender, all at the Glock store, and suppressors like Dead Air, Surefire, Silencer Company, or Silencer CO, I should say. So for whatever reason, or for the specific reason of Father's Day, if you're looking for a gift card, let's jump into this. Dad can use the card value to buy anything, any great gun gear in the Glock store that they're famous for. A Glock store gift card is a perfect opportunity for you to say thank you to Dad on Father's Day. It's my dad's day gift of choice, and I believe it should be yours as well. I guarantee your dad will love it. The Glock Store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. The one and only Glock Store, online at glockstore.com. United Structural Systems is your local expert when it comes to the foundation of your home, waterproofing your home, or making sure that your concrete is nice and level. Waterproofing and foundation, it is fundamental to home ownership, right? It's fundamental to resting with peace of mind. And they've been trusted as USS since 1994. They've been serving homeowners for that length of time. And in that length of time, over 30,000 satisfied customers. Think about that. That would fill, most arenas in Nashville, Tennessee. Homeowners that have trusted USS and they've made USS a priority when they move into their homes. And you should too. I did. I called USS out to my new home in Mount Pleasant, and I got the thumbs up, which is nice. They're problem solvers. They're not there to upsell you on anything. They're just there to analyze the situation, see what's up. Thankfully, I got the seal of approval from USS, and I hope you do too. But every crack tells a story, and if you've got an issue, they can fix it jiffy quick. Get it early with USS. Expert diagnosis from people who understand Tennessee and know your community. That's USS. Go to USSTN.com, USSTN.com for more information for United Structural Systems.
It is 1 minute past 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a forecast, a traffic report. That's all coming up. President Trump says his administration is using hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade coal-burning power plants. The money will also be used to expand dozens of coal mines. As the U.S. invests in coal, China is ramping up renewable energy, building major solar, wind, and thermal energy plants in the western half of the country. Speaking today in the Oval Office, Trump downplayed China's investment in renewables.
China, by the way, last year built 52 coal plants. They built about two windmills. You know, the only time they build a windmill is when they're trying to sell them to stupid people from the United States, the suckers. And by the way, and all over Europe, they sell the windmills, but they don't use them. I wonder why.
Back here in the States, John Bolton, President Trump's former national security advisor, he's expected to plead guilty over mishandling classified documents.
Sources familiar with the negotiations say that this will be a guilty plea involving one count of illegally retaining national security information. The source that I spoke to said that this involves Bolton allegedly storing classified information national security information in diaries, not that he took actual documents from government offices and retained them.
That's ABC's legal correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Back here in Tennessee, a federal class action lawsuit's been filed challenging one of Tennessee's new immigration laws before it's set to take effect on July 1st. The lawsuit is filed by the ACLU and others, and it argues that the law is unconstitutional because it gives the state immigration enforcement power that belongs only to the federal government. The law creates a misdemeanor charge for a person 18 or older with a final removal order to fail or refuses to leave the state within 90 days of that order. Plaintiffs in the suit include a 35-year-old and a 58-year-old Memphis resident. And the Tennessee Department of Disability and Aging and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation have launched a website to educate older adults about scams. The site, called SafeSeniorTN.com, it's part of an initiative meant to give older adults the information they need to avoid scams and bad actors. Every year, scammers steal $500 million from people over the age of 60 in Tennessee. That's according to the East Tennessee Area Agency on Aging and Disability. Nationally, the number is $45 billion. There are also plans for a call center where seniors and their families can report potential phone and email scams. There is also a plan to partner more with the faith community for this initiative going forward. That is the latest news. Weather is up next along with traffic. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. In the Hermitage area, a wreck reported Old Hickory Boulevard at Central Pike. Over in East Nashville, an injury crash now, Shelby Avenue at I-24. Also, River Road at Charlotte Pike in the Whites Bend part of town, an injury crash reported there. I'm Jay Harper.
Hi, kids. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You all right in there? You doing okay? You doing good? You feeling good? All right, I got the big thumbs up from young Jackson. Jay Harper's back in News Closet B. If you're just getting off work, jumping in your car, wondering how Ken Weaver's doing, we got the sort of kind of thumbs up from Ken Weaver. Jackson and I communicated with Ken a little earlier today via text, and he said he's on the right side of it, he believes. Just been a rough week, not a lot of sleep, a lot of dizziness. I think the crystals in his noggin have gotten all screwed up, and I think we need to get those crystals back right, and we'll be all good. Jay Harper's in, and Ken Weaver's absence, doing a great job too, Jay. We appreciate it.
Always great to see you and Jackson as well. I got a text from Ken, about 30 minutes ago, thanking me for being here, but saying he thinks he'll be here tomorrow.
Well, that's good news. We just wish that his whatever health issues he's going through, just a lot of for those who don't know, Ken going through a lot of dizziness. It's presenting kind of like a vertigo situation. So we're presuming maybe some you got the crystals. What are those in the inner ear?
Right,
and they get all screwed up, and you got to get them back right. You just bang on your noggin a little bit.
Well, he's been suffering from tinnitus, that sucks anyway. But especially for somebody in our business where you got these headphones on, that becomes a real issue.
Yeah, no question. Speaking of real issues, Jackson Williams is behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as possible. You doing okay in there, young Jay Willie?
Yep.
Yeah. You know what you need? You know what I think you need? Some delicious blueberry pie. And some microphone Viagra. What happened to your microphone there, Jackson? It's kind of limp.
What we're dealing with.
I've got a great organization that I can I can help you out with. They're right down there in Cool Springs. The 3 locations, Cool Springs, Clarksville, the original location in Midtown. They can help you out with that thing, brother. All right, we'll get back to your calls. A lot of conversation about data centers. And, maybe our next guest has a thought or two. It's my understanding that there was a previous caller said that there was a pretty big one that had been put out in Gallatin. I think that's in his stomping grounds. Representative Johnny Garrett joins us on the program to talk about his run for the 6th Congressional District, currently occupied by John Rose. John running for governor, and Johnny is running for the 6th. Hey, Johnny, what's up, brother?
Oh, not much. How are you? What a segue into the segment about data centers.
I'll tell you what,
about Jackson. So
yeah, well,
Jackson, you know how to do it, Matt.
Jackson's got microphone problems over there, brother, and
that's what I understand.
We're gonna get him hooked up. So before we get into data centers, let's get the glowing accolades out of the way, Garrett. I mean, my goodness. I mean, endorsements coming in fast and furious for Johnny Garrett's candidacy for the 6th Congressional District, to include, and I'm not funny with you. This is pretty impressive. You got a leadership in Washington, D.C. saying that they need Johnny Garrett on their team, Steve Scalise, and I think Tom Emmert, right?
That's right. They know a Trump conservative, a Trump warrior when they see one, and we need to get up there and make sure we continue to push the America First agenda, which President Trump has been doing since he's been president the 2nd time, and he tried to do it when he was president the 1st time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kudos to you for sitting down. I mean, I would imagine that involves sitting down with these guys in D.C., learning from them and allowing them to learn about you and making sure that you're kind of simpatico in the way that you see the country moving forward over the next several years?
Absolutely. They're in the thick of it, right? They're the ones up there with the battle. Steve Scalise and Tom Emmer, the whip of the U.S. House, and to one whip to another. I know how hard his job is. He's got a lot closer margins than I ever did in the General Assembly with the supermajority here. They've got real issues, and the fight is there. And they recognize that Tennessee's in a pretty good place, and they want more Tennessee in D.C. And I believe that's why we have won them over and grabbed their support, because they see a campaign that is ready to fight for President Trump to make sure we can pass the America First agenda. And that's what we've been doing. That's what we've been doing right here in the state of Tennessee, Matt. Tennessee First. He recognizes a warrior when he sees one, and that's what this campaign's been all about. So we're looking forward to joining him and working very hard for the folks of the 6th District.
Well, now, Johnny, put us in the room, because I would think, I don't know Tom Emmer, you know him better than I do, but I would think that Emmer would give you holy hell for the majority that you enjoy. I mean, as a House whip in the state of Tennessee, he's like, we could do anything in Washington, D.C. with those types of supermajorities.
Well, I mean, it's like here, the Democrats don't matter in the state, and that's the way we like it. And I sold that to Tom. I said, "Whip, we're going to do the same thing right here in D.C. We just got to get a little Tennessee up there." He liked that.
Well, let me ask you about what I mean, and this might be the hardest question I ask you. I don't know, but yesterday, I guess it was, the House approved a War Powers resolution. A few Republicans joined all of the Democrats to attempt to kind of stymie or shut down Donald Trump's ability. I mean, Congress has a say in this. Congress should have some form of say in this. I'm sure you've watched, Mike Johnson tried to prevent the outcome that, I mean, it's ceremonial in its nature. It's not going anywhere in the United States Senate, obviously. So Donald Trump will not need to veto it. I'm sure he would he need to. But this is kind of, it feels like it's in the middle of the stream while he's trying to work out a negotiation. What do you say?
I say, I trust President Trump and what he's been doing ever since he's been in this conflict, right? I mean, he's the negotiator in chief. He's going to get a deal done. He is going to do what's best for the country, because for 47 years we had a regime that all they wanted to do was, destroy Israel and kill Americans. And he's done what no president before him has been able to do, to move the football down the field. And he's there. He's right there. So I trust President Trump to make sure he's going to do the right thing, what's best for the country, and what's best for the safety and security of Americans, not only here, but everywhere. And that's what he's going to do. And I'm confident that he's going to get a deal done.
I have said from the beginning that I am hopeful, and I am sure that there are people in the room consulting with the president and allowing the president the flexibility to make some of those decisions regarding negotiations that are going to be better for the United States of America. At the same time, I'm concerned, and I want to ask you about it. I'm concerned about the perception here at home, because a lot of folks don't pay as close attention as you or I do to the intricacies. They just, they think about this at the gas pump, Johnny. I mean, and the fact of the matter is,
no doubt,
we got to get that gasoline down to a reasonable level. Otherwise, I'm a little nervous in November. Are you?
That's right. No, I think you're exactly right, and I think that's exactly what President Trump is going to do. I mean, this is a bump with the higher gas prices. He is well aware. I have full faith and confidence that he's going to be able to get something done where we're going to have relief at the pump for what this is. A lot of this market is just reacting to a lot of noise, I think, that's out there for these oil prices to go up. I think they will come down. Certainly we need them to come down a whole lot sooner so people can feel the relief. I mean, what gas prices are up now, it's costing Americans a little bit more money all over the place, and we got to get those prices down, and I think they will come down. I can tell you what I'd rather have. I'd rather have President Trump at the helm than the Democrats that would want to keep the prices where they are, because that's what we had under the President Biden. For 4 years, the prices were higher. That's where they would be. That's where the Democrats would want it to be. So I'm glad that President Trump is in the position he's in, because he knows what to do. He knows what's best for America, and I think he's going to get it done.
You're a Tennessee man through and through, and I mean the state of Tennessee, and I'm right there with you. I love my adopted home state. The volunteer state has been so good to me.
We wish you would have stayed in Gildersville, man.
Well, I know. Listen, but look, Murray and Sutton, they're companion counties, man. I mean, they feel so much so much the same. But I mean, I wish I was still up there too. But bottom line is, I mean this not just as a state, but you're also a University of Tennessee man, and so I think you will agree with me. I'm a Georgia Bulldog, you're a Tennessee Volunteer, right? So I think you would agree with me that I love Nick Saban now. Couldn't stand the man when he was on the sidelines, right?
He's hitting on all cylinders right now, isn't he?
But now, brother, I love what he has to say. And, he testified before Congress this week. Is this something that people want to talk to you about when you're out and about on the campaign trail? And what role does government have in trying to get some semblance of, rules and regulations that are nationwide regarding college football and NIL?
Well, it's funny. I saw my good friend today, Riley Gaines, who's endorsed the campaign at the Capitol today, and we were talking about that. We're talking about that very thing that we need to do something. Although I'm not a big, hey, federal government get involved in your life type of guy. The NCAA and those need to put some sort of restrictions on players so they can actually have a college experience instead of becoming what I refer to as a commodity now. And they're not staying with their teams. They're not being what teamwork is, et cetera. And so, if there's got to be something done, I think, on the level for the NCAA to kind of restrict the just free transfer of going to school where a player becomes a commodity rather than part of a team. And that's why I like hearing what Nick Saban's been doing. That's why I was glad that Riley understood what we were talking about. She's like, I think that's an actual good thing to talk about. The more we can talk about it, hopefully the more the NCAA on their own will act. Right, on their own. We don't government intervention in everything, but a little pressure could go a long way. That's where I hope we land.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Johnny Garrett's our guest. He represents the Goodlettsville area, and he's vying for your vote for the 6th Congressional District seat, currently occupied by John. Of course, John Rose running for governor of the state of Tennessee. Johnny, I'm right there with you. That I hope that conversations like this and bills presented by Senator Ted Cruz and others will initiate a certain level of action in terms of getting all the players together and figuring it out on their own. I think that's the best solution to all of this.
That's right. I agree.
I promised that I would ask you about this. It's a little bit, I guess it's dated news, but I have a listener that is very adamant. Every time I've had you on twice now, and they've asked me to ask you about this House Bill 1971. Both times I've had you on, and we've run out of time both times. And he's like, "You're in the this is what I'm getting here. It's like you're in
you don't want to ask tough questions.
You don't want to ask tough questions. You're in Garrett's pocketbook, and you're bought and paid for." So a lot of folks,
bring it on, man.
A lot of folks are upset. So you were a part, and I don't know if this is because you were in leadership as the House Whip. That you were co-signed on this bill, but House Bill 1971, right?
Yeah.
Which is it passed and it reverses, I guess, a 2018 law that was passed, and it was at the request of AG Jonathan Skrmetti. We've talked to Skrmetti about it in the past, but this particular constituent of yours said, "I want you to ask Garrett why he supported this legislation."
Well, I did it first because the piece of legislation, as it often happens, started out a whole lot different than the way it ended up. And so I was not on the legislation it's in, and I did not support it. I actually voted against the final version of the piece of legislation because it was kind of fundamental for me. I didn't want a citizen to make it more difficult to sue your government. And that's what ultimately that bill did. And that's why I pulled my support. I got off the bill. I wasn't a sponsor anymore, and I ultimately voted against the bill because it started out very different than the way it ended. And sometimes bills start out that way. That's a concept, like, oh, okay, I'll support that. But once it goes through the process and it is amended over, it goes through committees, it's like, wait a minute, I don't like where this was going. And that's where that bill ended up for me, was that I don't want to make it harder for citizens to redress their government or sue their government, and that's what that piece of legislation did. So that's why I voted against the bill. So I was not supportive of that bill, even though it did pass, and I think it passed pretty narrowly. So, but I did not vote for that piece of legislation.
All right, very good. Asked and answered. Now, and for those
I hope that answers my constituents.
Well, and I mean, I understand that Skrmetti, his position was, AG Skrmetti's position was that we had a lot of out-of-state actors that were coming into the state of Tennessee and filing frivolous lawsuits and gumming up the works in the AG's office without demonstrating that they had been harmed on the subject matter that they were suing about. And he wanted to kind of clarify who could and could not sue. And I was fine with that, too. I'm kind of there with you, Johnny, that I'm okay with, maybe sharpening the law to make sure that Tennessee constituents are granted an opportunity to sue their government if they feel like constitutionally they've been wronged. But it feels like you could carve out some of those exceptions without just throwing the entire law out, which is ultimately what the body decided to do, it seems.
That's right. It was a hotly contested, hotly worked piece of legislation, and I just couldn't get there because it was just making it harder to sue the state in the theory under the theory of standing, right? Not to get too in the weeds of that, and that's where I got a little bit. I was like, look, guys, we can't make it harder for folks to make sure they get some sort of grievance from their government should they are warranted for that. And that's why I pulled my support for the piece of legislation. But you're right. You kind of framed it right. Now it can be used by groups that we won't agree with to sue, and they could get to a relief easier. But so could we, right? So we had some things to weigh there. What's the benefit of the piece of legislation? Do I still want to make it harder for people to sue? No. That's where I ultimately came down on that piece of legislation. So
data centers, they've become an incredibly hot topic. And, it marries a lot of different subjects. Private property rights, the ability for a private property owner to sell to, a legitimate business, zoning, local ordinances, doing things to make sure that, businesses are paying their, quote unquote, fair share in terms of electricity and water usage. This has become hot, I think, primarily because of AI. Where are you on this, Johnny? And I think a caller pointed out that there was a data center that was approved up in Gallatin. I'm not familiar with it, but someone noted that. Talk to me about this and what your constituents are saying about it.
Well, look, artificial intelligence, AI, is going to be a technology that we're all going to use, and we probably still use to this day, right? It's going to be going forward, whether we probably like it or not, right? But we can't put in like Meta in Gallatin, the data center there. We got to make sure that the city of Gallatin and the cities around it, that it's the electricity that data center pulls can affect the rates of those that living around them, can affect the rates of the businesses that are around them. So they need to have a self-sustaining, in my opinion, production of how they're going to power those data centers, and that needs to make sure that. I'd want to do this on the federal level if I'm lucky enough to win the voters of the 6th district, go to Congress, to make sure that they can't burden their existing power grid or their existing consumers, the neighbors, the communities around these centers that would ultimately increase their rates, because energy is expensive. Energy drives the cost of everything that we touch, and we got to make sure we keep that energy down for consumers, because this needs to be a good thing, but we got to be smart about it, right? We got to be smart about it. We can't put the power, the cost on the back of our communities to make sure they fund these data centers. So that would be my concern. That would be what I wanted to make sure is that, look, you're coming in here, you're fine, but you got to have some sort of sufficient, separate way you're going to power your resources other than on the backs of the communities that you're in. Otherwise, they shouldn't be there.
All right, 7670 has asked this question. Well, the one, they say, Matt, you don't ask hard questions. Okay, thank you. Number two, they say, why doesn't Johnny say what he can do if he goes to Washington? He's another do-nothing legislator, done nothing in Tennessee. He's just a butt kisser. So for 7670, there you go. You put it up there, and I said it to Representative Johnny Garrett. Johnny, what will make the difference for you in Washington, D.C.? In other words, I'll ask the question a slightly different way. Let's say that I'm a listener or a constituent of yours in the 6th District, and I just turned on Matt Murphy's show for whatever reason, and I hear Johnny Garrett, and I say, oh, Johnny's running against that Van Hillary fella. I wonder what separates Johnny from the other guy. What do you say to that?
Well, I haven't been in and around D.C. for a career, and I don't want to go back up there for a career. I want to go back up there to work when I need to work, and I want to come home and listen to our community and make sure that we pass what President Trump has been working on for the past year and a half. Look, what have we done? In the state of Tennessee, we've cut your taxes by over $5 billion in the past decade or more that the Republicans have controlled. We've made small businesses work more efficiently with less regulation, right? People love raising their family, working here, because we have no state income tax. You can vote this November for making sure there's ever no state property tax charge. We are making it here in the state for you to make sure you have more money in your pocket. If we can make Tennessee, D.C., a little bit more like Tennessee, That's what we're going to do. We've also had pieces of legislation this year that says to the world that Tennessee is closed to illegal aliens, that it is now a crime to be illegal in the state of Tennessee. That's never been that way. We're the first state to make it a crime to be an illegal alien inside the state of Tennessee. So we've got a lot of things done at the state level, and we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to do what we've learned here in the state and take that to D.C. President Trump has closed the border. We've got to deal with the 20 million illegal aliens that are in this country and get them out. That's exactly what we got to do. And President Trump has been the forefront of doing this, that no president before him is doing it, and he needs warriors to make sure we can get that achieved. And I believe I'm the person that's going to do it.
You getting to know the new district boundaries? You getting out and about?
Oh yeah, we are right now in Putnam County, which is in the middle of the 6th district. We're burning up I-40 and burning up all the roads in between.
Well,
we are ready to do what we can to reach every voter, to make sure they hear about me, my campaign, my family, what I've done in the state, and what I plan to take to D.C.
Look, I'm looking at these endorsements, and I feel like you're going from smallest to biggest, right? You started with Travis, Clay Travis, right? So you started low, and then, and you build up, and you get to really big names like, and tell Clay I said that, by the way. You get to real big names like Riley Gaines, and then suddenly we're dealing with the likes of Steve Scalise and Tom Emmer. Before you know it, Matt Murphy might offer an endorsement. You never know. You never know, Johnny. You never know.
You never know. I don't know, Matt. Will that help or hurt? What do you think Jackson could answer that?
It would significantly damage your chances. That's why I'm just shutting my mouth and staying out of it. Johnny, it's always good to talk to you, brother. Come see us when the next time you're in Nashville, okay?
Matt, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.
No problem. There's Johnny Garrett. I like Johnny. It's hard not to like Johnny. He's running for the 6th Congressional District. I like Van Hillary. I don't know Van as well as I know Johnny. I know he at one time served in the Congress. I'm very late. My apologies to Jay. He will not be able to do a news tease during this segment. And I'm sorry for that. It's 28 after the hour on Super Talk.
33 minutes past 5 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories, a forecast, and a traffic report. They're on the way. President Trump says his new director of national intelligence pick will be temporary. Trump tapped U.S. mortgage chief William Pulte, who has no national intelligence clearance for the position after Tulsi Gabbard resigned. Democrats, they're threatening to hold up the security bill if Pulte is appointed to the position at all. But speaking today in the Oval Office, Trump defended the man as his pick.
It's an acting position. It's not a permanent. He's not going to be permanent because, I don't think he'd want to be permanent. But he's a very smart guy, and he may find out some things about the rigged elections, et cetera, et cetera.
Ford, they have recalled more vehicles, 4,600 of them, in fact, and they're warning owners to stop driving these vehicles immediately. According to the recall, the lower control arm ball joint may have been incorrectly installed or repaired, and as a result, the control arm could disconnect from the front wheel knuckle, and that could lead to almost an immediate crash because you can't steer the vehicle. Yeah, that's a problem. The impacted vehicles are certain Ford Bronco Sport models from the years 2021 to 26. Also, Ford Maverick trucks from 2022 to 26. Ford dealerships, they'll inspect the recalled vehicles and make the repairs at no charge. Notice letters are going to be sent out to owners by June 5th. Keep in mind, they're warning folks that own these vehicles, don't drive them, so I guess you'll have to get them towed to the dealership. Mount Juliet police, they apprehended a convicted sex offender wanted for multiple violent felony offenses in Rutherford County. They caught this guy yesterday when the 38-year-old Nashville man entered Mount Juliet near Lebanon Road and South Green Hill Road. The license plate readers alerted police that he was there, and they took the man into custody. The suspect had been wanted by authorities since May 30th on charges including felony aggravated kidnapping, aggravated assault involving strangulation, and a whole other litany of offenses. That is the latest news. Weather and traffic are next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. A new crash to report. Dr. M.L. King Jr. Boulevard at Rosa Parks Boulevard. That happening about 15-20 minutes ago. Old Hickory Boulevard at Central Pike in Hermitage, trying to clear that crash. In East Nashville, an injury wreck, Shelby Avenue at I-24. And Lebanon Pike at Chute Lane in Hermitage, a wreck reported. And also in Green Hills, a crash, Hillsborough Pike at Hobbs Road. I'm Jay Harper.
How's that heat? I mean, it's getting up there. I mean, it's obvious that it's June, right? I mean, we know that, June 4th. That means that the heat is just going to keep coming. It's just going to keep getting a little bit hotter and a little bit hotter. And before you know that AC straining because you didn't get the maintenance done like I told you to. Efficient Heating and Cooling is here for you, friends. Now, we're not here to judge you. If you've not done your maintenance just yet, there's still plenty of time. And if you're worried because you're hearing a rattle or something or another, we talked to Jack Johnson the other day. I'm curious how Efficient did when they came out to his home and checked out the odd noise that he indicated that his AC was making. If your AC is making the clank, 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 or whatever the odd noise might be, it might be time to call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. As a matter of fact, I would suggest you do. Or if the AC is not blowing the air in a conditioned fashion to your liking. Right? I mean, that's what air conditioning is, right? It's conditioning the air in a manner of your choosing. And if you're not blowing cold enough, you need to get with Efficient Heating and Cooling and let them come out and check that thing out. Now, odds are they can fix what ails your system and be on their merry way. And a maintenance call is never over $125, no matter where you might be. But you know, if it comes time, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they can advise you exactly what the product line is that's going to serve you and your family best, and financing options are available for those who are in need. EfficientHVAC.net, EfficientHVAC.net, or call today, 615-784-4424. Tell them Murphy sent you, 615-784-4424 for Efficient. Hey, folks, Matt Murphy for Accurate Mortgage. Mortgages are confusing. It's true. I mean, there's a lot of fine print. There's a bevy of paperwork to be done. And obviously you want to get the lowest interest rates possible, but you also want to get low prices. So we're kind of in a honey zone where the interest rates have gone down. They're not at the historic levels that they were of several years ago, but they have gone down from their recent highs. Secondarily, housing prices have gone down. The market's cooled down just a little bit. I'm a testimony to that. I bought this past January because of that fact. We've reached that. I called it the honey hole. And I also knew that my price was just right on my home, and my mortgage, you date the mortgage, you marry the house kind of thing. Well, I trust Mike and his team at Accurate Mortgage to guide you in the right fashion. They certainly did for me. My personal experience, it's so easy. Home buying, I bought a house 20 years ago in Birmingham, Alabama, and it was a lot of back and forth and sending them that and that. They've made it so easy at Accurate Mortgage. I mean, the process was so simple. It was an absolute pleasure to do business with Mike and his team, and I recommend them heartily, not just because I appreciate everything that they do for their community and everything they do for Supertalk 99.7 WT, and it's more personal. I appreciate everything that they did for me and my family. So if you're looking to purchase a home, do a cash-out refi to renovate your current home, or if you want to pay off high-interest consumer debt, it's time to call the loan advisors at Accurate Mortgage. Start your journey by going to AccurateMTG.com. AccurateMTG, that stands for mortgage, obviously. AccurateMTG.com. Accurate Mortgage, NMLS 129944. Rates and terms subject to change. They are an equal housing lender. Jackson is grumpy. He's grumpy because I told him who won nincompoops yesterday. Supertalk 99.7.
We don't know who won yesterday.
We do too. I told you. Yes, we do. I won. I don't win very often. I have held that trophy for exactly 1 week in 2026. One, Jackson. One.
I think it went to a runoff.
That is incorrect.
Overnight, a bunch of votes came in for me.
Are you tallying votes like they are out in California? Is that what you're doing?
Well, only 30% of the votes been counted from yesterday's nincompoop.
Oh, and so what are we doing now? We're just slowly tabulating them as we speak. Are we gonna do a new nincompoops while we tabulate yesterday's nincompoops? Is that what we're doing? Okay. And then when are you going to announce that the votes have finally been tabulated? When I'm no longer the winner?
Yeah.
Gosh, That's great logic, Jackson.
Are we dealing with hanging chads by?
Unfortunately, Jay, it seems that we are. I mean, hanging Jacksons, if you will. Jay Harper's back in News Closet B, subbing in for Ken Weaver today. Jay, you got yourself an Incaboop over there?
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
You know, see, he does this, folks. He won earlier this week with that same strategy. Y'all be careful for this guy.
That all shucks attitude.
Well, the old toe in the sand. Oh, gosh, I ain't got nothing.
I'm just doing what I can to get along. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I do.
So Jay won Monday. Matt Murphy has won Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 days in a row. Jackson currently possesses the crown and the trophy. But I feel like that might change after today's festivities because I got a couple of good ones. Ladies and germs, without further ado, you know what the news is. It's time to find the nincompoops.
Nincompoops in the news.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, all across the great state of Tennessee, all across these 50 United States of America, nay,
the globe.
The globe. We look all over, and we find those nincompoops where they live and where they breathe, and we bring them to you on a daily basis. And you have an opportunity to participate in this process by voting on your favorite nincompoop of the day. I shall present a story. Jackson Williams shall present a story, and not Ken Weaver. I almost said Ken Weaver. Jay Harper will present a story in the absence of Ken Weaver, and we'll tabulate the votes, and by 6:10, we'll have a winner, and I plan on announcing it, although oftentimes I forget to do so until the next day.
It's because he forgot to announce my win yesterday.
That is partially correct. I forgot to announce the win. It was not your victory. It was, in fact, my victory. Jackson does not like losing, y'all. How's that trophy looking? Have you shined it up?
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot to tell you, and maybe I should mention this when Ken's here, but I obligated the trophy for another week. I just want to warn y'all. I like to encourage the youngsters. I like the kids to get involved in the program. And the Killer Bees, Chris Hand's two young boys, I call them the Killer Bees. They were out at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply when we were out there. You know, the one that they didn't let you go to, Jackson?
I was on vacation.
Right. That's why we scheduled it the way that we did.
Okay.
Well, they said that they were in a big fight for the championship. And I told them that if they won the championship, their season-long championship for baseball, that I would let them keep the trophy for a week. So I'm just...
When is that?
I don't know. I'll work with you, Jackson. You got to work with me. The children.
Let's do a week when Ken wins.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, maybe we can figure that out, but... you know what we need to do? We need to start a tote board to see who has possessed the trophy the most in any given year. And I think it's you. I mean, I think it's clearly you.
Yep.
For 2026.
Also,
I've only had it a week.
You should probably win today.
Why is that?
Because we know when Weaver comes back tomorrow. It's like when Joan Jones was here.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not going to stand a chance.
They just hand it to him.
Yep.
Like, Ken, you've been sick. Here. I'm a little worried they're going to do that for Harper. I think that's what happened on Monday.
Maybe.
But here's what I'm going to do. I have 3 incredible nincompoop stories. A lot of times I don't have one at 546. Today, I've got 3. I'm feeling so good about every single one of these stories. I'm going to go ahead and say Harper goes first. Y'all listen to this now. This is dangerous. Okay. Dangerous. Listen. Harper's going first. Mm-hmm. Jackson's going second.
And Murphy up the rear.
Bringing up the rear.
What did you say? That's not really a family show. Never mind. Did you say me up the rear?
Yeah, that's the saying, isn't it?
No. Jay said it correctly.
Yes.
I'm bringing up the rear.
Yes, there was a missing word.
Yeah. Bringing up. It's not Murphy in the rear.
Potato.
No, it's potato. It's not. Nobody says potato.
It's tater.
Tomato.
Nobody says tomato, not in Tennessee.
Haters and maters.
Jay Harper, you're a nincompoop, sir.
All righty, here we go. Patrick Alexander, 33 years of age. He was in the Pokey. He was in the Slammer in Chesterfield County, Mississippi. Well, they were letting the guy out. He was ordered to pay $250 bond on a trespassing charge. Well, he went to the judge to pay the bond. He handed the guy 3 $100 bills and said, "Hey, judge, keep the change."
Huh.
Well, the judge noticed that the bills looked a little weird. The color was a little odd, and there was Chinese writing on the backs of the bills. So he used one of those counterfeit pens. Yep, bills were fake. The guy pays his bond with a judge to get out of jail with counterfeit money. And he faces additional charges of forgery. Apparently, these were bills he made himself.
Oh, boy.
And not very well. He's back in the Pokey. There you have a nincompoop.
I wonder if he's in the rear of the Pokey. Pokey in the rear.
Yeah, getting pokeyed in the...
Oh, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. There's Jay Harper's nincompoop. Jackson, take it away, sir.
You ready?
Yes, Jackson, we're ready.
All right. Bradenton man arrested after stolen radiological device listed on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, boy.
This is out of Sarasota, Florida. A 24-year-old man was arrested after Florida Highway Patrol investigators say they recovered a stolen radiological device that had been listed for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Marco Antonio Benitez Jr. was arrested May 28th after an investigation into theft of a moisture density gauge valued at $10,000 to $20,000.
You said moist.
Moisture. That's different.
Well, it's a derivative of the word.
The device contains CS137, a radiological isotope. Means it can be radioactive.
Thank you, Jackson. Did you look that up?
Nope, I just guessed.
Okay.
Florida Highway Patrol said the gauge is typically used to measure the density and inner structure of materials, including moisture levels in soil and asphalt. If damaged or improperly handled, the agency said, the device can expose people to radiation that may cause serious health issues.
Did you say something about moisture in his asphalt?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's got rectum trouble.
He's gonna be in the Pokey.
The investigation began May 26th after Florida Highway Patrol's Bureau of Criminal Investigations and Intelligence received a tip about a private party sale of the device on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh.
Troopers said the listing was posted by Benitez under his real name. Investigators arranged to buy the gauge from the seller in Bradenton. When Benitez failed to meet at the agreed time, troopers went to his residence. From outside the home, troopers conducted a detection screening, and the screening produced an industrial-level alert indicating the presence of radioactive material. Troopers with the agency's Preventative Radiological Nuclear Detection Unit found the device inside the residence. The agency said the device was still intact and the radioactive source wasn't damaged.
Well, that's good news, I suppose.
Just why are we trying to sell radioactive stuff on Facebook Marketplace?
That's not a good idea, especially when it has something to do with his asphalt.
Steal a couch.
Yeah, sure. I purchased something radiological on Facebook the other day.
Microwave?
That was a radio. That's radiological, isn't it?
No.
Old school Zenith radio?
Wow, you found like an antique radio?
Yeah, one from, I was looking for one, Jay, for my downstairs, like my pool room area, that is kind of a vintage 1950s look.
Yeah,
and I found a nice Zenith.
Wow.
I really like it. I'm very excited.
Very cool.
All right, I'm also excited about my nincompoops. You two took none of my three, so I just have my selection, and I don't know which way I want to go, but I think I'm going to go ahead and head on down to Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World, Jackson, is known as what?
The happiest place on earth.
The happiest place on earth. Not so much for Leslie Helen Varley, 57, who has been arrested and booked into jail on 2 counts of battery and robbery. That would be snatching. That's right. Robbery by snatching.
What'd you take?
The woman was arrested at Walt Disney's Contemporary Resort after she allegedly dumped water on a restaurant manager. shattered multiple glasses, and took a cast member. They call them cast members there at Disney World. They're not like employees, they're cast members. She took a cast member's name badge because she was upset. Why was she upset, you ask? I'll pause so that the entire listening audience can guess why she was upset. The alleged incident happened this Tuesday, May 19, so about 2 weeks or so ago, at Steakhouse 71, one of the signature restaurants at Walt Disney World's Contemporary Resort. One of the restaurant managers told detectives that Ms. Varley became visibly upset after she was told that her family could not sit together at the same table because there were too many of them.
How many of them were there?
The horror. That's the interesting part about this story, because while Fox 5 down in Orlando is doing a great job down there, God bless you, Fox 5, they say the arrest report did not specify how many people were in the group.
Because if it's like 8, that's ridiculous.
Varley had asked that 2 tables be pushed together. However, managers at the restaurant told her that while they apologized, that was not an option. They did not do that. Varley then allegedly grabbed both shoulders of a manager and moved the manager, a female, out of her way, approximately 6 steps. So she took her around, you get out of my way, you get out of here, and I'll do it myself, she said. That's a dramatic recreation of what I believe happened.
That's impressive.
Thank you, Jay. Varley then allegedly, when a second manager stepped in to help the first manager out, Varley then allegedly threw not 1, not 2, but 3 glasses of iced water at him, ripped his name tag off of his suit jacket. She also allegedly dropped 4 glasses onto the ground, causing them to shatter before walking out of the restaurant. The estimated damage to the glasses, $20. That seems insanely cheap.
Yeah, for Disney World.
When you buy them in bulk.
Maybe so. It just seems really cheap for Disney World glasses. Varley admitted to detectives that she was angry, but she claims that she was upset by a comment that the manager made regarding her daughter. No word in the report on what was allegedly said. Varley also told detectives that she took the manager's name tag because she could not read it, and she wanted to take a picture of it to report him. She said she gave it back moments later. The report said Varley had been trespassed from the property. I guess she will not be receiving her Mickey Mouse ears.
No, do you think you get jail mouse ears?
Yeah.
Little orange ones with a chain interconnecting them.
I was thinking little black and white stripes, little stripy orange ears, stripy ears. That would be nice. That'd be a nice touch if you're in Disney. Disney World jail, the happiest jail on earth. That's how we play it.
You can get a Mickey bar from the commissary.
Maybe so. I bet the food's pretty good.
Yeah.
You can go around and get food of the world or whatever.
No, that's the prison wine of the world.
Totally. Ms. Varley, I don't think it was worth all that. Maybe just keep the family separated. That's how we play Nincompoops in the News. Vote Harper, vote Williams, vote Murphy. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, by now, home builders know Timberland Cabinetry. By now, remodelers know Timberland Cabinetry. Dealers across the United States, and certainly here in the state of Tennessee, they know Timberland for their quality, their craftsmanship, how well they're put together, and the fact that they're local right here in Columbia, Tennessee. I love them, and I want you to know about them. If you're thinking at all about remodeling, you need to let the Timberland team help you. A visit to Timberland will mean that you'll sit down with a consultant. They'll talk to you. Obviously, they're not pressuring you to do anything. They're just showing off their incredible hardwood cabinets. They deliver high-quality cabinet products at affordable prices and have since 2005. I had a personal experience when I walked through the door. Could not believe it. I had a couple of listeners. Deb, right there at the front desk, is a big listener to the Matt Murphy Show, and so I invite you to call Deb when you make the call to Timberland Cabinets. And they allowed me to tour the facility. I was so taken aback at the incredible quality and craftsmanship and personal attention to detail on your individual cabinets. This is not mass manufactured stuff, folks. This is high quality items at affordable prices, and they can get it to you, and they can help you out from the beginning to the end of the process, or they can let it be a DIY project. Bottom line is this: they offer solid wood and hardwood cabinet products designed to stand the test of time. Go to TimberlandCabinets.com. That's TimberlandCabinets.com to find out more information about my friends at Timberland Cabinets, or give them a call, 931-499-7170. That's 499-7170. Tell Deb that Matt Murphy sent you to Timberland Cabinets. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls, causing issues, settlement, or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, I watched you do it. It's, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt, we appreciate you.
Coming up on 3 minutes past 6 p.m., and I'm not Ken Weaver with your top stories. We'll have a full forecast and another traffic report coming up. President Trump says his administration is using hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade coal-burning power plants. That is COAL, coal-burning power plants. Speaking today in the Oval Office, Trump said the money will also be used to expand dozens of coal mines.
As a result of the $700 million investment that I'm announcing today, we will protect 14 coal plants and 42 coal mines. It's a tremendous number. And build 2 new coal plants and 1 massive new export terminal because we're exporting coal.
The dreaded New World screwworm has been detected in Texas, the U.S. Agriculture Secretary confirmed today. Secretary Brooke Rollins said the pest was detected in a calf in southwest Texas, just near San Antonio. Rollins said that beef, though, it's still safe in the country.
The food supply is not compromised at all. This is not a disease. It is not a virus. It is simply an insect that lands in a wound and lays eggs that like to eat the flesh around the wound.
1 week before the first World Cup match, nearly 2,000 bartenders, cooks, and other hospitality workers in SoFi Stadium out in L.A., they're set to vote on whether to authorize a strike. The big issue, what else? Wages. They're asking for $30 an hour.
We got the budget resolution passed. This is very, very important because
that is the wrong cut. Thank you, ABC, mislabeling things. Let's move over now. And Walmart, you need to move over. ABC Sherry Preston reports there's a new company atop the Fortune 500.
For 13 years, Walmart has claimed the #1 spot on the Fortune 500 list. But now, for the first time since 2013, there's a new company up there. And it should surprise no one that it's Amazon. The Fortune 500 ranks companies based on revenue. And in 2025, Amazon's revenue grew by 12%, thanks in part to its growing web services, cloud computing, and advertising businesses. The venerable Walmart is still king when it comes to retail, but those other platforms help propel Amazon to the top spot on the Fortune 500 list.
That is the latest news. We've got weather and traffic next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Well, as we start to wind down our commute here, we still have some issues to deal with. 65 northbound at exit 108. Still got a stalled vehicle up in the White House area. It's blocking the right lane. 24 westbound at exit 19. The left lane blocked there due to a crash. 24 westbound at Briley Parkway. That would be exit 54. We've got a wreck reported there. And we go over to Cheatham County now. 24 eastbound approaching exit 24. There is an accident there. I'm Jay Harper.
All right, it's 9 minutes after 6 o'clock. Voting continues. Supertalk 99.7 WTN. You can vote on the YouTube chat, by the way. We invite you to go over there. It counts. You got the vote going on the YouTube chat. What's the vote look like right now on the old YouTube?
I'm winning.
You're winning.
Maybe.
I can't even remember your story. My Disney World story just blew all y'all out of the water. Lady got arrested, man. Arrested for being on the happiest place on. Come on. I don't even know what your story's doing over there, Jackson.
Well, as somebody said on the chat line, I mean, Matt, I mean, no offense, but that story's kind of normal these days. You know, people getting arrested and riled up over stupid stuff.
Normalcy and nincompoopery. Oftentimes they go hand.
They do intersect.
They do overlap on occasion. One way or the other, we'll tally up the voting. Voting is now officially closed, by the way. We'll tally up the voting and see. Oh, and I got two more in there because I brought it up. Look, the last three votes were for me. And Jason, you're no longer allowed to dead name Jackson. Jackson has plenty of nicknames. We no longer use that one, Jason. So you're going to have to move on from it.
Well, I see Matt 44%. Yours truly at 35, and Jackson up the rear at 21%.
You haven't counted in the mail-in YouTube votes, Jay.
I just liked it. I like that Jay likes that so much. I don't know why. All right, we'll get to, speaking of up the rear, we'll get to Freddie O'Connell in a second, riding the fence regarding his acceptance or granting of almost $1 million in money, basically benefiting illegal alien activity in the city of Nashville. We'll discuss that coming up in a moment on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. By the way, thanks again for those who missed it. We got pies. Jackson has not had any pie yet. I had a little taste of the pie. It was strawberry cheesecake?
There was a blueberry one there.
Yeah, there's a blueberry and a strawberry cheesecake, and both of them smell very good. And thank you to Christina. No offense to anyone bringing food, and I love every single one of you, but I do not normally eat
correct
random food.
Yes, yeah.
I've got a little bit of Howard Hughes in me, a little bit, in terms of being a little crazy about germs or whatever, but I made an exception, took a little taste of the strawberry, and it was delicious. And thank you, Christina. I'm going to carve out an exception for you, and I appreciate you. You're very, very kind. Thank you. Don't know Christina. She also brought us. Have you done your Lego set yet? She gave you a toy.
Have not.
Wasn't that nice of her?
It was very lovely.
Yeah, I gave you a little something to do while we're watching movies this weekend. By the way, Jackson, speaking of movies, not happening this weekend. Going to the theater. We've got to suspend that till maybe next weekend because I don't think I can get it done. I got Saturday things to do and then Sunday so I don't know if you blocked out time for it or what, but gonna have to be next weekend. You good with that? Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's a thumbs up. Hey, the redheaded stranger is on the line. She sent me a text, and I'm like, I can't say this. I'm not talking about this without your participation because I have a difficult time on this week of CMA Fest, which, why did we stop calling it fanfare? I don't know. It was before my time. Maybe the redheaded stranger has an answer. Pamela Furr joins us on the hotline. Hey, Pamela.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Good.
Well, I don't have an answer as to why they decided to change it from fanfare to CMA Fest. It will always be fanfare to me. But holy smokes, I was downtown today because I am crazy. And as I was leaving, I was actually turning right there at Broadway to get back on the interstate. And one of those electronic billboards were going off, right? And suddenly it pops up in black and white, I hate George Strait.
What?
And I'm going, what? And it sat there for a minute, so I'm trying to find my phone to take a picture of it, and then it flashed by. What? After that. Who would buy? It's got to be a publicity stunt, because who in their right mind during fanfare / CMA Fest would buy such a billboard in Nashville, Tennessee? I am outraged. I am beside myself.
I am shocked. Shocked and outraged. So was it, it was just black and white?
Yep. The letters, the background is black. The letters were white. I hate George Strait.
And that was it?
And there, I think there may have been a website below that in smaller letters, but I couldn't see it because I didn't have my glasses on. And so I was like I said, I was trying to get the phone out to take the photo of it, and it flashed to the next thing, and I couldn't just sit there and wait for it to rotate. So I had to leave. So it's there, down there, near you, if somebody wants to sit there and watch it rotate. And yeah, I hate George Strait.
Were you going like toward 65 when you got on you got on the
Yes,
loop? You were getting on the loop from Broadway, right?
Correct.
Okay. I know exactly. That's like where the White Castle is, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Over there.
Yeah, okay. I'll circle around and see if I can't find this thing. This is
Yeah, it was either there or it was Demumbrian, but I'm pretty sure it was Broadway. Sure it was Broadway because it had me going crazy places. My GPS did to get around fanfare traffic, but yeah.
I got to tell you, Pamela, shocking. This is shocking.
Yeah,
scandalous even.
I think so. And something should be done.
Most people currently on the Waylon didn't say. Somebody just said on the super text, y'all are lying. 8695 said that Waylon said George Strait walked with a lisp. That is not true. Y'all don't do that. Y'all don't do that. That's no good. 3888 is blaming gay pride. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
What does that have to do with gay pride?
I don't, we could, look, in the month of June, the gays get blamed for everything, right? It's all their fault. I blame Freddie O'Connell on the gays. I do. Tell me.
Well, got to blame somebody. Why not?
So we're going to get to the bottom of this because this is absurd. I mean, who in their right mind?
Apparently, it is a viral marketing campaign plastered around town.
Here we go.
For a new song, a song called I Hate George Strait by these couple of unknown musicians. So it's a publicity stunt.
Okay.
Yeah, they're out there promoting that.
Look who fell right into this, Pamela. Me and you.
Yeah.
Yep. It worked. Now, am I going to go listen to it? Nope.
I will. I might play some of it.
All right. Well, I hope for their sake it's good.
It's what, you know what? Here's my prediction. Okay. Here's my prediction. It's one of these songs that's going to flip around on itself that you think it's going to be, you think it's going to be hating, but they hate George Strait for a reason. Like George Strait, their girlfriend loved him too much, or there's going to be some.
I hate George Strait because my wife who died loved him so much, and now every time I hear him, I think of my dead wife, or something like that.
Yeah, right. Or I hate George Strait because all I can wear is Wrangler blue jeans and white press shirts, or whatever.
Well, I mean, they had the money to do the billboards. So, yay, I guess it worked, because now we've been talking about it on, a fire brand of radio stations, and lots of people are hearing about it now. There you go.
3888 wants to make clear that his comment or their comment was not about the gays so much as that they hate George Strait because of his last name. I guess I get that. Get it? He's George Strait.
Well, you're on target. You're on target about the song. Apparently, the person in the song hates the artist because of all of their favorite George Strait songs that bring back memories of their ex-girlfriend.
Were we right? Or were we right?
I mean, gosh, we can all write a country song. Yeah.
What was the old joke about playing a country record backwards? You play a country record backwards, you get your house back, your wife back, your dog's alive again, you get your truck back. Yeah. Did you ever do CMA Fest, Pamela?
Not as a fan, but I used to work for Ricky Van Shelton. Do you remember Ricky Van Shelton?
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Of course.
And so I worked for his manager, and so during Fanfare, there were times I would, they used to sign 8x10s, those black and white 8x10s, and so there were times I would have to go down there. Now, this is when Fanfare was down at the fairgrounds.
At the fairgrounds, yeah.
Yeah, and so I would have to go down there and get Ricky some more 8x10s. He'd run out. So I'd get in all the traffic and all the heat, and all. Even then, cowboy boots and Daisy Dukes, fanfares in town.
I don't understand that, but you know what? It's not for me to understand. I do. It is true that back in the day, the rumor was that like Garth Brooks signed autographs for 20 hours or something.
It's very true.
Like, that's insane. That's just insane. When I first moved to Nashville, I had boxes of this is actually before I moved to Nashville. I had boxes of old stuff that my grandparents had, and my grandparents never told me that they had ever been to Nashville, right? They loved country music, but they never told me they had been. And when my grandpa died and I went through the house, I found an old program from the Country Music Hall of Fame. Obviously, this was not the new Hall of Fame, it was the old Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And the program was 1968. Oh, wow. And I have it signed by Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton. And so Dolly Parton's not even in the magazine in photo, but she signed right where Porter Wagner's. So she had to still be on the Porter Wagner show. And Porter signed the program where his photo is, and then right beneath it, Dolly signed her name. And I have looked at Dolly Parton's signatures, and it looks real. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited about that.
Do you have it? Do you have it framed?
I don't have it framed. I have it in a very special location in my home, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to, I've not figured out how to do it, but I just thought it was cool. Two things. One, that my grandparents went to Nashville, and like that set them in a time and a place that was foreign to me. Like, oh, my grandparents were young ones. And
right.
They were traveling about.
They knew Elvis.
Joe says, now Matt's 5 listeners know about the George Strait song.
Gosh.
No. Thank you, Joe. I'm proud to know that you're one of the 5.
Well, that's my report from downtown Nashville.
All right. Well, we got suckered right into that publicity stunt. Thank you. Also, Scott has written in and says, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Pamela got $1,000 for making this telephone call. Maybe. Maybe.
Shoot, I didn't even think of that. I'm so stupid.
She might be a part of it. I don't know.
I wish I'd have thought of it. All right. Thank y'all. Bye.
See you. Bye, Pamela Furr. There's 21 after the hour. There's Pamela Furr, the redheaded stranger we call her on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt, don't blame the gays. We love George Strait and think Feckless Freddie is an idiot. Thank you. I know. I kid. I pick because I love. I pick because I love. Hey, look, I don't think that. I think America is a big enough place and believes in freedom enough and liberty enough that there's a place for everyone, so long as you're not violating anyone else's rights and doing things to people that cannot make those adult type decisions for themselves. And I include all of you, regardless of whom you associate with. Unlike, folks like Andy Ogle's staff members who were significantly reprimanded as a result of their dastardly tweet. More on that, an update on that. Plus, mentioning Feckless Freddy, I got a story from Feckless Freddy's from his administration. They say, hey, whoa, wait a minute. We're not giving any money to illegal alien activities. I'll tell you what that's all about next on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you about your personal safety for just a moment. I understand that it's personal because it's your personal safety, but here's the deal. When you're out and about in public, life's a crazy place, and we seem to live in a very dangerous world. Defend Systems is a life safety and security consultation firm. They're based right here in Middle Tennessee. They specialize in security consultation, active violence mitigation training for you, for your staff, for people within your school or your corporation, your healthcare facility, your law firm, your manufacturing facility. They even do country music tours and entertainment venues. We at Cumulus Nashville utilize this training. It's where I met Brink Fiddler and his team. Absolutely love what they do. They provide custom solutions to a variety of potential issues for you in your workplace, like active shooter response, emergency and intruder action plans, workplace violence prevention, all customized to your facility. The bottom line is this. The possibility of this happening to you is very low, and we recognize that. We're not here to scare you, but it's not zero. You need to realize that hope is not an option nor a plan. It is time to get trained with Defend Systems, and you do that by calling 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or online at defendsystems.com. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy, and I want to talk to you for a moment about the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know, Dr. Mitchell is so good. He just announced that whomever, and we've got to start counting on the Nincompoops Trophy because, the Wellness Institute of Nashville sponsors Nincompoops in the News. And I don't know if you saw this, Jackson. Dr. Mitchell just announced, this is the type of guy he is, that whoever is the winner at the end of the calendar year for the most weekly Nincompoop victories, he's going to donate $5,000 to a charity of our choosing for that person. That's pretty cool. That's the type of guy Dr. Kevin Mitchell is, man. He is so wonderful for his community. I love what he does for the community, not just in his giving approach, but also what he does at the Wellness Institute. He helps solve your pain issues. Bottom line, pain is bad, and that's why his website is painisbad.com, painisbad.com. Epic healing and a $33 off epic special happening right now at the Wellness Institute for spinal decompression and other treatments. He also has Medical Bay One, which is a futuristic type of healing machine that Dr. Mitchell himself designed. Hydrowave therapy available for you as well. Friends, the bottom line is this. Surgery should be a last option. Don't keep covering up the pain with pills or needles. Let's get to the bottom of it, and let's solve it with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. 615-246-5009, 246-5009 for the Wellness Institute.
Growing criticism over the slow California vote count. And we'll also have today's closing money news. That's all coming up here in just a bit on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, the Matt Murphy Show. We are pleased you have joined us today. Thank you for your time and consideration. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly we're thankful for that. 615-737-9986 is the telephone number, 615-737-9986. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell, we call him Feckless Freddie on the Matt Murphy Radio Show because the man, he seems to enjoy riding fences. I think riding fences are a little bit dangerous because you never know where that fence post is going to go and it can leave splinters. But Mayor Freddie O'Connell seems to enjoy it. Spokesperson for Mayor O'Connell said yesterday to the Tennessee Star that his request for the Metro Nashville Council to pass a budget including $735,000 for the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, or TIRRC, reflects, quote, a potential city grant, which the spokesperson said would allow oversight on how the nonprofit organization advocates for illegal aliens and oversight as to how they are to use the money. The request on the part of the mayor was initially reported by the pamphleteer last week. And after multiple representatives and talk show hosts, like yours truly, amplified the reporting, O'Connell's office defended the request in a statement to Fox 17 News, stating the money would support, quote, those working to adjust or maintain their lawful immigration status or U.S. citizenship. Okay, that's garbage. Park that for a moment. We'll get back to that. Responding to questions from the Tennessee Star, Nashville Chief Communications Officer Julie Smith told the Star, quote, the Office of Financial Accountability conducts physical and programmatic monitoring of grants administered by the various metropolitan... Good Lord, this is such bureaucratic gobbledygook. Listen to this. I'm going to do it again. Just tell me this makes sense. The Office of Financial Accountability conducts fiscal and programmatic monitoring of grants administered by various metropolitan Nashville and Davidson County government agencies, ensuring compliance with federal, state, and local laws, regulations, and stated outcomes and results, as well as specific requirements of the grant program. This appears to be the first reference to a line item in the budget as a grant. I'll tell you what the mayor had to say to Fox 17 coming up in just a moment, right after the news. And the news is happening right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
31 minutes past 6 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A forecast and other traffic report are coming up. There is growing criticism from not only the president, but from others over California's lack of firm results from Tuesday night's primary. California historically can take days or weeks to get the vote, but often the nation isn't focused on it. But now state officials are defending the process. Here's ABC's Alex Stone. He's out in L.A.
In response to criticism from President Trump and Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton over those slow election results here, California's Secretary of State says in a statement, accuracy before speed. Los Angeles County Registrar Dean Logan says all of the ballots will not be counted for a while.
The bulk of our ballots, typically in LA County, are in by 10 days after the election in the count. I don't expect that to be different in this election.
Part of the reason is because so many Californians vote by mail, and those ballots can take a week to arrive to be counted. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
We now turn to today's closing money news with Brian Clark.
Major markets indexed rose as oil prices eased. The Dow was up 875 points at the end of Thursday trading. The S&P gained 31 points after backing down from its record high. The Nasdaq fell 23 points. Bank stocks helped boost markets. Shares of Goldman Sachs were up by 5%. Fifth Third Bancorp and U.S. Bancorp were each up more than 4%. Those gains offset losses in tech stocks. Shares of chipmaker Broadcom fell by more than 12%. Despite strong profit and revenue reports, Micron Technology shares fell by more than 7%. President Trump announced plans to boost the struggling coal industry using a Cold War-era law to spend nearly $700 million to support existing coal plants and help build new coal plants in Alaska and West Virginia. Number of Americans filing for jobless aid hit a 4-month high. Layoffs remain low, according to the latest numbers from the Labor Department.
That is the latest news, traffic, and weather. We've got them coming up. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News. The stalled vehicle still blocking the right lane in Robertson County. This is 65 northbound, so outbound. This is at exit 108. 24 westbound at exit 54, a crash. Also 12th Avenue South at 11th Avenue down in the Gulch. There is a wreck reported there. And in Cheatham County, 24 eastbound, approaching exit 24, an accident. And also in Robertson County, the left lane blocked due to a crash. This is 24 westbound at exit 19. I'm Jay Harper.
Grace Point Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine right in Franklin, Tennessee. Now, I'm going to give you a telephone number right now, and I'm going to give you that telephone number again at the end of this commercial. And I want you to call Grace Point Healthcare, 599-6868. That's 599-6868. And schedule an appointment. They do things differently. Now, they provide quality medical care in a timely fashion, but they don't make you wait for your appointment. Sadly, modern medicine dictates that if you're sick, cough, and you call up, hey, I'm sick, I need to get into the doctor. Okay, we can see you on the 14th. Like, what? That's 10 days from now. What are you talking about? No, they don't do that at Grace Point Healthcare. They understand that when you're sick, and you need to be seen. They'll even come to your house if you're too sick to make it to the office. Secondarily, you don't wait once you get there, which they just don't like, and nobody likes either. I mean, nobody cares. They're waiting in the waiting rooms, and they don't make you do it. Grace Point also is a direct pay facility, meaning you pay Grace Point, file with your insurance company for reimbursement. Bottom line is they keep prices low that way. You can use the Smart Care Plan, which you can pay through your HSA. Thank you to the big, beautiful bill. That makes it so easy and convenient. And you don't have to worry about labs. Basic labs and diagnostics are included with the Smart Care Plan at Grace Point Healthcare. That's what it's all about. Now, I promised you this number again, right there in Franklin. Call them. Schedule that appointment. If you're not feeling well or if you're looking for a change, it's time for Grace Point Healthcare. 599-6868. 599-6868. I was just about to get up and go look at the Legos in the control area and console young Jackson. But I realized that we were coming right back.
I know what the Legos make.
You do now?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to tell me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Guess. I believe that the Legos make an office building.
Nope.
I believe the Legos make a Lego structure.
Yes.
I believe the Legos make the Batman building.
No.
I believe the Legos make an outhouse.
Nope. It's an animal.
I believe the Legos make... Oh, is that from the zoo? We got in trouble about the zoo, dude. Or I say we because you're part of the show. We got in trouble about the zoo, by the way. People are mad at us about the zoo.
Because you said you hate the zoo and everything it entails?
I don't...
And you hate animals?
I don't think I said that. I don't think I said that. I cannot confirm or deny that I said that. I don't really remember the things that I say on this radio show, but I don't believe I said that. I don't think I would have said it that way. What I said was I feel like the zoo is kind of antiquated, that we don't need the zoo anymore, that, I feel bad for, I just find myself as I get older feeling bad for the animals. I want the animals to be in the wild. And so I can't find the exact message, but somebody messaged me, and thank you. I hope you're listening right now and understand. I apologize for coming off as anti-zoo. I'm really anti-circus, like animal circus, which don't really exist anymore. The animal circus is kind of over, and, rightly so. But I know that I came off as anti-zoo yesterday, and I know I said things that, would lead people to that conclusion. So for that, I apologize. So I've never been to the Nashville Zoo. Jackson and I are going to go. Hopefully we'll have a great time and we'll report back to you. I will say from my personal experience, the last time I was at the zoo was at the Birmingham Zoo. And I found myself more than anything feeling sorry for the animals that they did not get to be in the wild. And that's, I'm a pud, I'm a softy, whatever, y'all, that's fine. But I didn't mean to come off as anti-zoo. So if anybody works over at the zoo, if they can give Jackson and I an opportunity to come to the zoo, promote the zoo, we'll be pro-zoo. You know what? We could get a zoo. You know what we could do? I did this in Birmingham. We could get a zoo person in here. They bring like snakes and stuff.
Oh, maybe not.
They do.
I don't do snakes.
What do you mean you don't do snakes? I mean, these are not like bad snakes. These are good snakes, like pythons. They just put around your... How much? Put around your shoulder? Come on. You do it. You do it, wouldn't you? You're shaking your... Why are you shaking your head? You're not... You should be nodding your head. I will do it. Yes. No? Really?
I don't do snakes. I don't do spiders, and I don't do snakes.
I don't do spiders. I would not allow somebody to put a tarantula. Well, I don't know. I probably would.
Would you do the Fear Factor thing and get in like a tank of all of them?
Good God, no. The problem with Fear Factor was not, they get in the tank and the snakes are in there or whatever. That's fine. And then the spiders, that's fine. It was the eating. It was so disgusting. That's what turned me off of Fear Factor. It's like, oh, I'm going to eat like donkey penis. What? Why? What? Why?
And
no,
that can't be your main fear.
Yeah, I mean, right? That's gross.
I think that's all. We all got a little bit of that fear in us.
What? That we're going to eat spoiled whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So but the spiders and the snakes, that's just a typical, like the fear of heights. That's a typical fear. That's what I'm all about. Anyway, so you wouldn't put a snake on?
No.
I think I'd do it. So if I have an absolute phobia, if I have a phobia about anything, it's spiders. If I did a tarantula, would you do a python?
Could they just bring in a red panda?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're kind of. They brought in an owl one time in Birmingham.
I'd do an owl.
It was pretty cool.
Ooh.
Who?
Ooh.
Who?
Ooh.
Have you ever seen an owl without feathers?
No.
And very cute. Very, very skinny. Owl is mostly feather. But anyway, the point before we get back to the zoo structure was I understand that I came off as anti-zoo. The zoo is anti-data center. And what I said was, well, I think the data center is probably anti-zoo. And I don't know that the animals care one way or the other, which I think is fair. And I know that zoos have changed and they're creating habitats. I'm primarily thinking of when we went to the Birmingham Zoo, we saw like the flamingos, and I felt bad for the giraffes. I don't know why, but I did. And I felt bad for the lions. And I felt bad for the lions because the lions looked horribly bored. And I feel like lions have a natural desire to hunt, kind of like sharks. And they don't have the ability to do that if they're in the zoo. But, you know, be that as it may. But back to the reason that I brought Jackson into the conversation to begin with. What is it? Is it an elephant? The Lego thing. Elephant?
No.
Rhino?
No. Think about this show.
Okay. Is it a radio microphone? What? You said it was from the zoo.
No, it is an animal.
It's an animal? Okay.
What animal? What animal could it be?
It's a raccoon!
And it's giving us the finger. We got to build this thing.
Is it a raccoon?
Yeah, and it gives you the finger.
It does not.
Come look at it.
I don't believe you.
I'll show you during the break.
Okay. We got pie and that. The same person gave us both, I suppose. Okay. All right. Well, we'll build it, and we'll let you guys know. We'll show you on social media, and we'll show you on YouTube TV or YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble.
3449 says, it's a raccoon, dummy.
I'm sorry. I'm a little out of it. I apologize. I don't know.
It was just sitting right there in front of us. Yeah.
I was. I couldn't get it. I can't believe that they have Lego raccoons at the zoo.
They give you the finger.
They don't give you the finger. I think you're making that part up.
I will show you.
You got photos? Have you put it together already? No.
No, I just have the instructions.
Okay, I'm glad you're in a better mood. Jackson got very depressed, and I didn't understand why, and now I figured out. Oh, good Lord. What is that?
The instructions are lengthy.
Holy shit. And okay, and that's what it looks like when it's done. And it is that really giving me the finger? What is up with that? Okay. Sheesh. Did you know that only the female lions hunt? Yeah, I've heard that somewhere. It wasn't off the top of my head, but I've heard that somewhere. 3449 says, sheesh, it's a raccoon, dummy. Sandra says, lions don't hunt, the lionesses do. Well, you know what? I didn't see the lions with a bunch of lionesses either. So maybe, you know what? Lions don't hunt meat. Maybe lions hunt something else, huh? Think about that. And they weren't getting any of that either. So how about that? We also rode a camel when we were at the Birmingham Zoo, and I didn't like it. I didn't want to, but they made us. Jackson's upset because I announced that I will not be able to do the movie this weekend. And Jackson says that I've canceled our date, and he's not very happy with that. If I was able to make it happen on like Sunday early, could you go Sunday early?
Early?
I was hoping for a motorcycle ride Sunday afternoon.
Let's just do it next week.
Now you're going to be that way. Now you're going to do that. My God, it's like we're in a relationship. Hey, let's go out to dinner. Okay, you pick. I don't care where we go, except I don't want to go to those 10 places you're about to name. Is that what we're doing now?
There's always Chili's.
I'll go to Chili's as soon as they put. I'm on the record. I'm a Chili's man as soon as they put that tuna steak back on the menu. Even though it gave me food poisoning, I want that tuna steak.
It nearly killed me, but I want it back.
It was good, man. It was so good. It's kind of like that pie's going to do. 48 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Okay, there's an update. Michael Patrick Leahy with the Tennessee Star provides this update to a story we were just telling you about regarding Freddie O'Connell. Apparently, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Nashville Metro clerk is now saying that there is no TIRRC funding filing that exists for the proposed quote-unquote grant that Mayor O'Connell is now calling this $735,000. A spokesperson for Mayor Freddie O'Connell yesterday told the Tennessee Star that the $735,000 item in his proposed budget for the Tennessee Immigrant Refugee Rights Coalition. I mean, this is obviously a way to funnel money to illegal aliens. I mean, it just is, okay? Refugee rights, come on. Well, they said it's actually a grant. Well, it's subject, if it's a grant, to oversight from the city. The Metropolitan Clerk of Nashville told the Tennessee Star that their office does not have any state-mandated appropriations records from the nonprofit. Asked whether the proposed spending would be used to advocate or provide legal assistance to illegal aliens, a spokesperson for the mayor's office said no, basically. This response described the proposed $735,000 as a grant, although the budget line item in O'Connell's budget calls it a contribution. If the item is a direct appropriation grant from Metro Nashville, then the expense is subject to Tennessee Code Annotated 7-3-314B, which specifically states nonprofits seeking financial support from a metropolitan form of government need to file their request with the clerk of the legislative body, who in Nashville is the Metro Clerk. Statute states the information must be made available for public inspection. Citing the statutory requirement, the Star contacted Metro Clerk Austin Kyle Thursday about the filings related to the mayor's proposed contribution to the nonprofit. And according to the Tennessee Star, after first indicating that such information may be held by the Grants Coordination Division, Kyle then provided the Star with the 2022 to 2026 contract finalized between Metro Nashville and TIRRC. The contract expires June 30. Pressed for information about the new budget where the new appropriation appears, Kyle confirmed that his office had no fiscal year 27 documentation from TIRRC at the time of the inquiry and indicated that he would not receive such documentation until the budget was passed. Metro Clerk then confirmed the clerk's office does not have anything filed by TIRRC for an appropriation at this time. In other words, they're violating. So they got caught with their panties down, did Freddie O'Connell and others, on this budget proposal. And people are calling them out on it, so they've changed it from contribution to grant. Well, now that it's a grant, their pants are really around their ankles, because if it's a grant, then TIRRC had to file with the clerk, and that has to be publicly available, and it's not. It sounds like a lot of pablum and a lot of lying on the part of the mayor's office in the city of Nashville, all for the purpose of getting money to illegal aliens in this community, something that we should not be doing because it's against the law. It's 51 after the hour on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. You know who's not a friend? Bugs. Bugs are not friends of yours, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, some of you might like, well, Murphy, I think beetles are cute, or I think, no, they're not friends of yours. They want to do dastardly things inside of your home. They want to make baby bugs. They want to eat your food, enjoy your AC. They don't pay a dime of rent. They are truly little communists, these bugs, whether it's spiders or fleas or ticks or roaches or stink bugs or silverfish, whatever it might be. They want to take up residence in your home and just take over. You going to let them? You going to let them? You going to fight them? How do you fight them? You're thinking, Murphy, I got nothing. I don't know what to do. I do. Call U.S. Pest. JK and Erica Brister are the team that can get together with some of their qualified technicians and eliminate any and all bugs from your home, from your place of business, from your yard, from any place that your family or your pets gather. They can eliminate those bugs. That's what they do. So if you're not satisfied with your current pest control service, or if you don't have one, my goodness, call U.S. Pest. Free pest and termite inspection available for you, 590-1260, 590-1260. Online, as always, at uspest.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Only a few moments left in this edition of the show. First Amendment Freestyle Friday tomorrow. Friday also tomorrow. By the way, I have been alerted to a petition that is ongoing on change.org, which is obviously a petition, site. Nashville Zoo says no to proposed data center. And there have, as of the time that I received this screenshot from a loyal listener, 47,650 signatures. How about that? Almost 50,000 people and or animals have signed to this petition. Nashville Zoo says no to proposed. Apparently, they're proposing a data center near the zoo, and they don't want the data center near the zoo, and so they say no. And 47,650. I'm sure it's much more than that at this point. In the meantime, I brought this in. I never did Legos when I was a kid. Did you ever do Legos?
No, I wasn't a Lego kid.
You weren't kidding, buddy. Did you look at this?
It's very involved.
So there's for those watching on Talk Television, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, that's just the beginning of there are I'm not making this up, 119 steps to make this raccoon flipping us off. And Christina, who gave us the raccoon and the pie, has texted in and said, I gave you the raccoon just in case they didn't approve your raccoon bill so that you could put it together and flip them off. And there it is. That's here. Can you see that? That's the raccoon flipping us off.
And on the next edition of the Matt Murphy Mess Around.
Yeah, so Jackson and I have decided that we're going to do a new mess around. We do like a weekly thing that called the Matt Murphy Mess Around, where basically we're just messing around. And we're going to put this thing together tomorrow afternoon, okay? Before the show. And we'll put that up on the mess around. That should be a lot of fun. That'll probably post up next week, if I'm not mistaken.
But if we succeed, you'll get to see the finished product tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, on the show.
And maybe only one of us is here.
How long do you think this takes us?
I think we're going to fight for an hour and work on it for an hour.
It's very confusing. I get. Oh, that's okay. That's telling us how many of those we need. Okay. That makes sense. All right. We'll see. Friends, I've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. For Jackson Williams, for Jay Harper, for the ailing Ken Weaver, hopefully he's back tomorrow. Matt Murphy, speaking and saying, hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.